We're back. How long has it been?
Dude, it's been way too long. It's been too long. It's got to be, I don't even want to say, a month, 4 weeks.
Way over a month, dude.
No.
Yeah, we were in Wisconsin my birthday.
I know, but we released one.
That was June. It's August.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
You're slacking, dude. Been too busy. It's been busy in general. What have you been up to?
For me, it's just been trying to get a little bit of time off, to be honest, right? I've been traveling quite a bit, and then I get a big, heavy month going again here. Once we literally go mid-Ohio, straight to the Netherlands, get Nicky through the door, the final
cleared?
push. It's close. We get the interview, so as long as she doesn't do anything
naughty,
crazy in the interview, it should be good. But no, other than that, just been hanging out, trying to ride my bicycle like Lance and trying to, lose a little bit of weight that I seem to have gained over the last month. So
gained some weight?
Yeah, dude.
Keep putting it on, dude.
Dude.
Them Harleys aren't heavy enough, you know what I mean?
But other than that, no, I've just been trying to hang out. Smith Cat's been in town for a week, so I've been just doing the dance with him, brought him to a couple group rides. Guy's not stoked on that. He's more of a tempo guy.
Anymore,
no, he's fit. He's just more of a tempo dog. He's a diesel guy. He don't like that punch. So, but what about yourself? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, dude. Just same thing. Been busy. We were. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Just checking that thing or what?
Mic check, dude.
Been busy. We've been. We were in. Shit, I don't even know. We were in Virginia. Drove home. Went home for 4 days. Got back in the RV. Drove out here. We did some testing on the Arch. I didn't get to ride, but I was team manager for the day. And just been hanging out here in mid-Ohio. We're out here, I don't even know where we're at right now, Mansfield. We're about 30 minutes from the track, back in the RV. So, yeah.
And hey, we got to file odds this weekend.
We do. I'm actually, I had to put out a help wanted ad on Instagram about an hour ago.
Oh, you did? Oh, we need
we lost our sales guy. So.
Oh man, am I gonna have to pull the merch out?
I got a couple emails.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got it lined up $20 an hour. So we're paying over minimum wage, I think, compared to Ohio's minimum wage. So.
Hey, and we're launching new tea, man.
James got a new tea. Yes.
Dude, stars and bars, baby, and baggers we trust. It's going out live.
Good.
All right, let's get into it, dude.
Yeah,
we're wasting time here. We got freaking a 2-time champ. We've got a guy that's been in the game a long time, rode a lot of different motorcycles. I had the pleasure of growing up racing with him in flat track. We have Sir Jiggy Dog, JD Beach.
What's going on?
What's up? Where do you call yourself? Are you consider yourself a Kentucky native now, or?
I do, yeah. I mean, it could kind of be a long story, but yeah. I mean, I consider that home. I mean, I've lived there longer than I lived in Washington State now, and I mean, I feel like I got roots there. So I mean, that's home for me.
You're real Southern now.
Yeah. But you grew up. What is it? How do you say it? Snoqualmie.
Well, so that's where I was born. So but I grew up in Kent, so it's south of there. Washington
boy, Brad Baker.
Yes, sir.
Was he close?
No, he was about 2 hours south of me. I think it's kind of hard because like when I lived there, it was before I drove, so like I know like the distance stuff is kind of off just because I never drove it.
Yeah, you only know it by when you hit a MapQuest to get your parents around.
So what sort of tracks like did you have out there? Like, because Washington, Joe Kopp, I will obviously know Cody Kopp. There's some dirt trackers out there, Brad Baker, but apart from that, I don't really know too many riders from Washington.
Yeah, so growing up there, we actually raced a lot, and it was me, Brad Baker, and Jacob Lehman, and there was a few more guys, but we raced a lot, and we raced Castle Rock, and then so like that. I mean that was like the big one, but I bet at one time we probably had 5 or 6 tracks that we raced at, and like we had like a legit like Washington State series or points or whatever, and so like back then it was kind of cool because the tracks worked together and like all had points together, and because my dad still lives out there, and he like has his tracks that he goes to or whatever. So like there's like groups of guys that go to certain tracks, but back when we were kids, we raced all the tracks.
So how many tracks was that?
I mean, it was Castle Rock, Bellingham, Rainier. So Bellingham was like a car track. It was like a 3/8. Rainier was an outdoor short track. Yakima, which was on the east side of the state, that was a half mile. There's a track called ORV Park,
I've heard of that.
which is like a small short track. And I know I'm forgetting one. And then in the wintertime, we had Oakwood, which is like a pole barn that was like the roof was falling in. Like when it would rain, they would take the chalk and just like put a circle around where the rain at, because it's just mud. And so like we had Oakwood, Puyallup was a indoor we raced at. Monroe was another short track. So we had a lot of tracks to race at.
And that's why you guys were so good at short tracks, because you guys had that. You guys had a lot of different tracks to race at. Because I remember always showing up. Brad, like, seems like everybody from Washington could one go left and right, but also was very, very good on short tracks. Is that primarily what you guys rode?
Yeah. So when you're saying, so we had another short track, we had two more indoor short tracks that we raced. So like we rode short tracks a lot, but then also at Oakwood, the people that ran that race, like one weekend they would do flat track, the next weekend they would do arena cross or whatever, and they helped Brad and myself, and so the arena cross stuff we would go. I wouldn't call it had jumps, but we would go there and race 20 classes. Like we just have a list of classes, and we just wrote it all. So I think that's kind of why we were good on short tracks, but good at going right too, because we rode all the time.
When did you actually start riding? Like, how old were you?
I mean, my dad bought me a bike. I think before I was born. Like yeah. Like it was. As soon as he knew he was having a boy, like that was gonna be his racer. Like, so I mean, I had a bike. I was riding a dirt bike before I could ride a bicycle. Like I was.
Wow. No way.
Yeah.
Training wheels? No training wheels?
No training wheels.
What?
Just
Yeah.
right after.
Yeah. My dad just send it. Just go for it.
I mean, that's got to be a what, 3?
I was 2.5 or 3, something like that.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Wow. That's early. Before we get too deep into it, we got to make sure we thank our sponsors. Jimmy, hit him with the Law Tigers.
Yeah, Law Tigers are American motorcycles lawyers. A motorcycle incident isn't something you ever expect, but you need to be prepared in case you do. If you or you know somebody that's injured in a motorcycle accident, always call Law Tigers first. Their services are at no cost to the riders, and they fight for riders to get taken care of and back on the road. With Law Tigers, you never ride alone. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS.
Give them a call, lawtigers.com. We also got Yuasa Battery, the most trusted battery in power sports since 1979. For over 45 years, Yuasa has delivered power, reliability, and passion at every turn. Yuasa supplies power sports batteries to more OEMs and riders than all of our competitors combined in the U.S. and globally. The reason is simple: premium quality, unmatched reliability, long life, and advanced engineering with years of application and expertise. Yuasa Battery, setting the standard for power sports batteries since 1979. Jimmy, each and every day.
Starts with Yuasa.
Yeah, baby. Find your battery at your local Yuasa retailer or visit yuasabatteries.com.
Speaking of Yuasa batteries and Yuasa chargers, I need a charger. Just got the big hog, dude. Just got the big hog, man. Dude, when you're bumping the Rockford setup I have with 10 inches in the back, you need power, brother.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
How am I supposed to freaking knees in the breeze?
We'll get you dialed in.
All right.
We'll get you dialed in.
Roll it.
So I started riding dirt bikes at it was 4. It was like really when you started racing?
No, my first race I think I was 3.
Really?
Yeah.
And that was TT or dirt track stuff.
It was a short track. It was that was short track.
Your dad did flat track, or is it like, why did you end up doing flat track?
Yeah, so my dad raced when he was younger, in his teens to mid 20s maybe, and then he bought a boat and he lived on a lake or whatever, and had a good time, and but so he raced all the way until like he was almost pro, and then kind of went on with life. And then as he got older, he got back into racing, and he was only flat track. Like that's all. Like he didn't want a front brake. He rode like farmer gloves. Like he's totally flat track. And so whenever he had a son, he was like he was going to be a racer and he was going to be a pro. So like there was no. He wasn't going to let me do what he did. Like it was racing and that was it.
That's crazy. It sounds almost like a script to a movie or something.
I know.
You know?
So when you started racing, was it pretty, like, were you riding a lot? Because that's what, I mean, was there like, you sound like it was like set in stone, right? Like you were going to be a pro, you were going to be a racer and not make, I don't know, whatever mistakes but was it tough? Like, was it like, did you want to do it?
Yeah. So yes, no. So I know when I was like, I had to been 7 probably. And there's a movie that I used to watch all the time. And it was the Camel Pro series from 1990. And so it was a recap of the whole flat track series. And I would watch it every day, or like every time we were going to a race or whatever. I watched it all the time. And so I think I was like 7 years old, and I told my dad, I'm like, I want to be a professional flat track racer. So I think right there, that's when it clicked for him. He's like, okay, well that's all you're gonna do. And I mean, throughout the years, it definitely there was times where I didn't want to do it, but racing was always a outlet for me, and being on a bike was, because my parents got a divorce when I was pretty young. And they didn't have a great relationship, and so whenever they would fight and stuff, like for me going out and riding my bike, like I didn't have to deal with that stuff. And then also with my stutter, like racing was the only thing I could do where like it didn't matter. So when we lined up, we were all the same. So I think there was always a part of me that wanted to race, wanted to be on a bike because of that. But then there was my dad's side where he was pushing me, like he was pretty tough on me, like, but like he wanted me to, because when I was 7, I mean, you know, when you're 7, you might say you want to be an astronaut. Like that doesn't mean that's what you want to do, but I'm grateful that it ended up working out like it did. But it was definitely hard at times.
So when you say it was like your outlet, you mean you had like a track in the backyard, you go out and literally ride kind of a thing, or it was something you were doing every day, or it was just on the weekends? Or
yes, our neighbors probably hated us because I had a track in the backyard, but we lived in a neighborhood, like a cul-de-sac. Like, I mean, there was behind us there was 3 houses next, like we were the middle house of 3, then there's 3 across the street from us, and then I mean it was just cul-de-sac after cul-de-sac. So I had to track my backyard plus the cul-de-sac. I would just go out and ride
supermoto.
Yeah. Well, so whenever that started kind of getting big, I wanted to pretend I was riding supermoto. So my dad was at work, and I opened our from the backyard to out front was a straight shot from the back door to the front door, and then we had a gate to go in the backyard. And so me and my friend were riding, and we couldn't both go through the gate because we might have a head on. So we would go through the gate to go in the backyard, and then go through the house to go to the front.
Dude, no.
And yeah, when my dad got home, he was not pumped.
I can imagine. So you guys are on like a an acre lot or something. You just got a track.
Probably half acre, if that. Yeah.
And so this is what, 50s?
50s, yeah.
PW or?
At that time, I mean, I was riding a XR 50, I think, like just at home, and then I was probably racing like a Lem 50, then a 65, probably something like that.
Wow.
Dang, dude, XR50 in the house. Dude, that's awesome. That's so sweet.
That is so rad. Where you're like your parents weren't home, you could kind of just come home after school and rip around, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think at that time my parents might have been together still, but yeah, they were at work, and when I'd get home from school, that was the first thing I wanted to do was ride. And my neighbor just down the road, he didn't race, but we were in the same class, and so I had 2 bikes, so he would just come ride a bike. So then I wasn't alone the whole time.
That's so awesome.
And so what did your dad do for when you were at that time?
At that time, so he was a heavy equipment mechanic, and so but he went back and forth between doing that, and then he also drove the truck, like a truck, to like deliver that stuff. So like he kind of went back and forth.
But like locally, not
locally,
okay.
yeah.
So you always had some good equipment at the house building the track, or no?
No, there wasn't enough room for that. I mean, it was it was probably as long as this thing. Like, it's not. It wasn't a big backyard.
So you were just breaking it in on your own on the bike. That was it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. When you mentioned kind of like your stutter starting early on, when did that kind of come about? Like, when did you like realize that was a thing? Was it from the moment you started talking, or was it something that kind of developed around that age?
No, I mean, as far as I can remember, it's been since I could talk, and like I don't remember it starting, because I think it's just always been there, and like even when I see home videos from when I was a kid, like it was always been there.
Wow, that must have been tough. I can't imagine like going through school having to deal with that kind of stuff. I could see for sure why getting on your bike when you got home from school after a long day would probably be pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, I mean, school was it was tough for me because of my stutter. So like when I was in school, I'd get pulled out for like a speech class, but then I don't know why, but like spelling and reading and stuff, like I'm okay with it now, but when I was in school, I was not good. So like I'd get pulled out of class to go like a special class for stuttering, and then I'd get pulled out of class to go to a class for spelling and reading. So it's just like, so then when I'd get back into class, I was the weird kid that was gone all the time. On top of that, I was traveling to go racing, so they're like, this kid is weird. So like
part of the circus. Or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that was always like something I remember growing up, just like no matter what happened at school or whatever, you know, if kids made funny or whatever it was, like you could go race and you still had that, and it was like you could say what you want, but I'm still cooler than you because I'm riding dirt bikes when I go home. You know, at a young age, at least that's kind of how the mindset was. I feel like, at least for me, you know what I mean, it just kind of gives you a place to, you know, be your own person without it feeling like any of that other stuff kind of matters.
Yeah, it was weird too, like because I did have a few friends at school, but like when I was at the racetrack, like the kids my age, like it was like my stutter wasn't even there. So like it was like they didn't like at school they would pick on me or whatever, but at racing I don't know, it was just so like I had a core group of friends that like I just hung out with them, and just it did like I could be myself and not worry about it.
Did your school was it cool to ride a bike in school or not? Because like when I went to school, people didn't understand it at all, and they were like, if you weren't a jock, you kind of weren't. Like it was just that was it. Gym class hero and a jock, and racing was also weird. Like it was like weird to see somebody ride a motorcycle.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I mean, I didn't make it very far in school, so like high school and stuff I didn't go, so it was kind of different then. So like that was more elementary school, and like I don't think at that age people didn't realize that I could make it a career. So it was more like them getting mad. The kids, I don't know, but like the teachers and stuff didn't like me being gone because they didn't realize it could actually lead into something.
So how long did you go to school for?
Officially, I went I was registered until 9th grade, but ninth grade I missed I think 110 days of school or something like that, but they still passed me. So 8th grade was like the official last year that I went.
Okay, and you didn't do homeschooling or anything?
No, it was like a transition time, like when I was moving back to Kentucky, and like I was struggling in school. My dad didn't care if I did school really because I was racing motorcycles. And so that's actually kind of something that I regret now is not finishing school. But I did when I was 23 or 22. I went back and I did my GED test. So I did finish it, and because for me, I felt like when I was helping kids and stuff, like school's important. Like maybe not going to the traditional school, but I think learning all that stuff is a big deal. And looking back now, I'm bummed that I didn't put more effort towards it. But so I figured I needed to at least get that so I can preach to the kids to do it but not being like if I didn't finish, then like it's kind of hard to say, hey, you need to go do that.
Yeah, what kind of role model would you be?
I can sympathize with that. I got my high school diploma in 2020. Yeah, so like I can totally sympathize getting that done. That was always something for me that just, was always on my back growing up, was like didn't finish school, and you always, I don't know, for me it was always, felt like I wasn't smart enough or whatever.
Yeah.
So just to get that monkey off my back was something pretty cool.
How old were your parents when they had you? Were they pretty young?
No, my dad was close to 40.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then my mom was because they have a big gap, and I think she was in her early 30s probably.
That's interesting. I would have thought, maybe with him not really focused so much on school, it was like because he just wanted to race and didn't really have that perspective of like didn't matter as much. But that's interesting. So when you made the move to Kentucky, it was purely just based out of the fact that you were racing and kind of got in that network. Like how'd you even end up in Kentucky? It's a long ways away from Washington.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of started. So I met the Gillims in early 2000s, racing at Springfield, and so once I met them, I'd go stay at their house for a week, and then the next year it'd be a month, and then it'd be 2 months, and so it just kind of got more and more. And a couple years before I moved, my parents got a divorce, and my mom moved out, and so it was just me and my dad then. So at that time, it was my dad was working 80 hours a week probably so like we could go racing, and then so I was like 10, and so at that time it was like he would get up, go to work. I would go to school. I would get home. I would ride, do whatever, and then I would do our laundry. I would cook our dinner. Like he would get home. He would work on bikes, and like it was just. I was like 10, so I was just doing that over and over and over. So and I'm so grateful for how hard he worked to give me the life that I've got now. But I think he kind of started getting burnt out with that a little bit, and so his wife now that when he met her, she lived about an hour and a half or 2 hours north of us. So it got to the point to where he wanted to spend time with her, and so it was go to work on Monday, go stay with her all week, and then come home on Fridays. We'd get the bikes ready, and then we'd go racing. We'd come back home, unload, whatever, and then he would stay at the house Sunday night, then go back and stay with her all week. And I was in 7th grade at this time. So I was living alone basically. But like sometimes during the week there was a track that we'd go ride at. So he would stay. So he'd get me from school, then we'd go ride. He'd take me back home, then he'd go up there. But so, and that all that kind of transpired, and I started staying with the Gillims more, and so it was racing, but it was like kind of more of a home life thing. And I think like I hold nothing against my dad. Like he worked so hard, but I think he was ready for a break too a little bit, and so it just all kind of snowballed a little bit.
So how many years did you guys do that? So you said 10 years old. You were living 4 days a week technically by yourself?
Well, so like at 10, my dad was still there.
Oh, okay.
And then but he was working all the time to pay for us to go racing. And then so probably from 10 to whatever age you are in 7th grade, so like 13, something like, so like 10 to 12 was that grind, and then 13 was when he met his new wife now, and then just kind of had all that.
So how hard was that as a 13-year-old to essentially live by yourself? Yeah, I mean that's tough. Like, are you a teenager, like going through all that, and then like making sure, like, did you go to school at that time?
Yeah, no, unless we were gone for a race, I never missed a day of school. Like I was at school every day.
Did you have that type of work ethic at 13 as well? Like not missing school and being on a regiment, getting the bikes ready, riding. Like, was that just your routine?
I think so. I mean, I think from whenever my parents split up, like that was always that's how my dad was. Like, he went to work, he came home, he worked on bikes, he ate dinner and went to bed. And like, it was just, and so we were just it was a teamwork. And so like I from a young age, like I had to grow up fast, but I know like when I was young, I had this dream of racing. So like, it was just, if this is what we're going to do, this is what I have to do. So it was, I guess, kind of forced on me a little bit.
How did you live?
Yeah, like, that's what I was going to ask. Like, were you able to do other kids stuff at the time, or is it just kind of like that? You know what I mean? Was there, you know, I don't know, hanging out with kids that didn't ride other than your buddy down the street? Like, was there more to it, or was it just kind of like you were just totally locked in at that point?
No, I mean, I'm grateful that I did have people. I had families around me, like race families around me, like the Bakers, the Lehmans. There was a few more. I had a group of friends that actually raced quads and stuff, and so not during the school year, like I would go stay with them some, and so like they would take me to the races, and they knew the situation I had at home when we were at the races. So like when I was at the racetrack, because my dad was still racing too. So
oh wow,
so yeah,
dude,
so
you don't want to give it up, huh?
Yeah, and so like I had great people around me that made sure like I was fed, and like if we had a rain out, like we would go see a movie or whatever. But like my childhood, I mean, I definitely had a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoyed my time, but like it was racing. Like there was no playing sports because you might get hurt for racing. Like there's no doing this because you might get hurt for racing. Like it was just, racing was life.
So when you came home from school, you were just like, I guess I'm struggling.
Talk us through a day in the life of you at 12 years old.
13, like, so like say in the middle of the week, you come home from school and what are you doing?
So like I'd come home from school. So my friend that lived right down the road, he used to skateboard. So like I had a skateboard. So we would skateboard to school. We'd skate back home. And then maybe one day, like, we would go into town and jump off curbs or whatever, like jump over stairs. And then, I mean, I would usually eat at his house, and then, or like eat lunch or whatever at his house, and then we would ride bikes or whatever, like ride the 50s, and then like we'd hang out, and then he was smart, so he helped me with my homework. So I cheated off him. And then I'd go home and feed the dogs that we had, and then I'd make a can of like beef stew, like or whatever, or corned beef hash or whatever, and eat some dinner and go to bed and go to school the next day.
That's insane. I think people like I don't know why anybody would know that, but that's pretty wild.
It's weird. Like, I mean, it's been a long time since I've talked about that, but like, to me, that was normal.
Of course.
But like talking, like, it sounds kind of weird, but to me, that was
just at a young age, right? Like,
yeah.
I just think about me at 13 years old and coming home and like, I mean, I could make like Velveeta, but like at this or like cereal, but like it's just something you just don't even think about.
Yeah.
Like I just never thought about being by myself for like more than one night.
Yeah, I think like the whole cooking thing, like I started when I was 10, like with my dad. So like it just seemed natural to me.
Yeah. It's amazing how when you're a kid, like, and you're in it, you don't really think about, how kind of surreal or whatever the situation is until you have perspective, right? Like you get a little bit older and then you see what other people went through, how they lived, and you're like, oh, wow, maybe I was doing a little bit different when I was a kid. But that's really wild. So, I mean, it makes sense why not finishing school was so easy, because you were already, I mean, did you have the perspective of like feeling like you were an adult in a way already? Like you were living kind of an adult life by the time it came to make that decision?
I think so for sure. And I think that's kind of why when I was like 18, 19, or like 16, 17, 18, like people were still trying to not control me, but like tell me what to do. I'm like, I've already been doing what I want to do for 6 years. So like, I do feel like I aged faster.
Yeah.
At
you had
that
no choice. Right?
At that time, did you learn anything financially at that time, like those young ages, or was like anything about money or anything?
No, because I love my dad, but he wasn't good with money because he spent everything to go racing. I'm pretty sure by the time I was 16, he remortgaged the house twice just to go racing, and then my grandmother had a college fund for me, and we spent all that on racing. So like it definitely was. No, I didn't learn much about money.
Okay.
Wow.
So it was everything you had to make it.
Yeah.
Maybe what not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean it's really interesting. I mean, I think when you start to look at like bigger picture stuff as knowing you from the outside looking in and hearing all that stuff, it's interesting because it's like, I mean, it makes sense in some of the things you hear about you. Like for people that don't know, you're kind of known to be like one of the most, fit guys and just motivated and determined. Like that's kind of people in the paddock, that race, that's what they know you as. So, but it makes sense coming from where you came from. You had no choice. Like it was, do this or nothing else at that point.
It's like do or die, really.
Yeah.
Like you were either just going to make it or you weren't going to make it. But it's interesting to see like 20 years later, like, I mean, I don't know you now, but everybody still knows you as like JD doesn't quit in the off season. Guy doesn't take a break. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely it hasn't been good to me some. I mean, I've definitely overtrained before, but yeah, I mean, it's hard because racing is what I love to do, and so for me and the people that I've been lucky enough to be around since I was a kid, like learning from them, it was just always. I just always worked hard. So and I think for me the training part and the riding part, like it's what I love to do. So it makes it easier. Like yesterday, I rode a turn track probably for like 2 hours almost. Like, but it was just because there was a group of us riding, and like it's what I love to do. So it's just and luckily, like I don't love doing cocaine or something because that wouldn't help me with racing. So like, that's kind of like my vice is like training and stuff. So
yeah.
And is it the vice on what's the vice on? Like from just to race, or is it still the vice on your stutter or your childhood, or like why? What's still holding you here?
I think it's a mix of all of it. So I've never drank my whole life, and on my mom's side and dad's side, there's been history of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, and a lot of them that have gone through it has overcome that, but there's still a long line of that. So like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm never gonna do that. But I think the endorphins you get from working out and the adrenaline you get from racing, that's my drug. Yeah. And so like it's like I almost like crave going out on a bicycle ride, doing a group ride and just murdering myself. Like if I come back and like I can't breathe, like that was a good day.
You like suffering a bit.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think I talk about it with Kaylin a lot. Just like, you know, when we do just like normal everyday stuff and she doesn't get like a reaction from me, it's like, it's hard to explain to somebody who doesn't get it. Like, you know, after so long of doing this stuff, it's like there's not really much else out there that gives you that same feeling. You know what I mean? I think it's easy enough if you have an addictive personality to get addicted to just that in itself, or you know, yeah, I mean, basically becoming I don't want to say an adrenaline addict, but like addicted to that, you know, all of it. Like it's intoxicating, I suppose. Jimmy?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the stutter, right? And how was that when you were, I know you said you were talking about racing, it was always an outlet for you. Did it ever, growing up in the time when you were 13 and living by yourself and going to school and stuff like that, did you ever have were you ever like depressed or anything, or was racing and having your good friend and whatever and always being out like enough to like succumb? Like, I don't know, was it that
No.
I don't know how hard it was. Like I want to really kind of grasp like
no,
that.
it's still hard. Like it's something like, especially when I was younger, I'm like, why me? Like why do I have to go through this? And like there's even times where like I like when I was in school, like I was taking classes and stuff, and like it just never got better. And like it was, I mean, not so much now, but when I was a kid, for sure, there was nights I'd be crying because like you can't say what you want, and I think even for me now, like with you, like your podium stuff, like the way you act and like the stuff you can say, and like just like I think of that stuff, or not like you're you're on another level, but like I enjoy that. And
he
like
practices that stuff in the mirror though for like weeks, just so you know. It's not all just on
there's
the
no
spot.
way that's practice, like because it comes off. But like that interview stuff, like when a race gets done, like I play stuff through my head, like how I want to say something, and when I get to the microphone and like it doesn't come out the way, and it's so devastating to me. But it's been something where there was a point in my life where I wanted to fix it, like, but then I finally realized I wasn't broke. Like the like we all have something, and for me the stutter is just somebody here, or everybody hears it. Yeah. But like we all go through something, and it got to the point to where like I'd have people reach out to me that maybe stuttered or maybe had this or that or had autism or something, and like they saw me on TV doing an interview, doing something that I love to do. And so like I got to the point to where, not that I'm lazy and I don't want to fix it, but it's just like that's my personality, that's me, and if it's going to help somebody else, a child or a grown man or a grown adult, get through something, like it feels really good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get to a certain point where you can either keep fighting it or you kind of just lean into it.
Yeah,
it's probably a lot easier to lean into it after years of fighting yourself on
yeah,
it.
But I mean, there's still time. So like my name is so hard for me to say. I don't know why. And there's certain stuff that's hard to say. But even to this day, I'll go order Starbucks or whatever, and they'll ask me for my name. 7 times out of 10, I can get it, no problem. But there's 3 times where I won't get it, and then the person, like, because sometimes when I stutter, like I'll make a face or like I'm like caught up on something, and I've had it happen multiple. I mean, I'm 33, and I've had people laugh at me, and like even at 33, like I don't cry, but I'm like, yeah, damn, that hurts.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I mean, I can't imagine, but you know, you talking about it, it's like, how do you know? You said there's like more words or certain things like you know that are kind of like a trigger or something like that. Is it something when you're like putting together a sentence, something that you can like trying to think about avoiding? Like, is it that kind of in the forefront of your thought process all the time?
A little bit. And my stutter gets worse when I'm tired, too, or if I'm nervous. So this whole last week, when I knew that I was going to be doing this, dude, my stutter was horrible. So then I was stressing about it because I'm like, I got to go do this podcast, and I'm just going to stutter the whole time. So like, well, like now I'm relaxed. Like I'm not doing. I mean, I know I'm doing it, but it's not. I feel like it's not too bad compared to last week. So it's and like even when Matthew did his, when he said that he kind of thinks of words not to say, like, because I always felt like whatever word I was gonna say, I'm just gonna push through it. And so and like that's just yeah. It's like I was already set. So when he said that, I'm like, maybe I can start doing that. Like, because I know what words it's gonna happen. But it's weird too, because like sometimes the words I know it's gonna happen on, it won't do it. So like it kind of like catches me off guard too.
Wow, that's so crazy. I mean, it's something I can imagine. Just it takes up a lot of your thinking. Just all the time about that kind of stuff. Have you had conversations with like guys like Matthew or anybody else? Like, do you have friends or other people that race out there that you can relate to on it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like with Matthew, I've known him for a long time, and we've never talked about it. And like people that I've talked to that stutter, like we don't talk about it. So I don't know. I'm almost thinking like I know that he does, and he knows that I do, and we just kind of.
I mean, that is an interesting thing. Have you like done research? I mean, obviously, I would imagine you have, but like research to why, like what happens in the brain. Like I don't know what really why.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different things that could be. So one thing is when you're a kid, if you can't hear. When you're really young, so like before you can even talk, if you can't hear, because sometimes when babies can't hear, the parents don't know because I mean they can't talk or whatever. So when your parents are talking to you, that's when everything is developing. So like you don't develop all that. So that could be one of the things. And I mean, I don't remember, but I guess when I was a kid, I had ear infections all the time. So that could have been one thing. They say it could have been something traumatic that happened or whatever. And I mean, it's hard to pinpoint it to one thing, but and like I also got really lucky in 2011 when I rode for Kawasaki. They paid for me to go to a speech therapist, and it was actually the guy that Jeff Emig works with, or I don't know if he still does, but worked with him before he started doing broadcasting. And it was something, and I only got to go once because they paid for one time because it was expensive, but there was even things then that like I learned to help my stutter a little bit.
Wow. Did Jeff Emig have a stutter?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
But he got rid of it.
Yeah.
Wow. So is it is something that you can work to get rid of, or it doesn't work that way for everybody?
I think it's kind of a little bit of both. And for me, I think it's something that I could work through, but it takes a lot of time. And if I'm going to do something, I'm 100% in. But if I'm doing that, it's taken away from racing or training or whatever. So like I can't balance both. Sure. And so like right now, for me, I'm not. I think my career and what I want to do post racing, my stutter shouldn't be a problem. So maybe when I'm done racing, that might be something I try and work on. But it's something that like you have to commit to doing.
And like now as an adult, what could you do? Like you'd have to pay out of pocket. It's not something your insurance like helps you with or something like that.
Yeah, I would have to look into, because I haven't looked into it for a long time, but it would probably be something that I'd have to pay for, and I mean I already pay a mental coach, a trainer, like all this stuff. So like paying another speech guy, like it's not going to help my racing, so I'm not worried about it.
It's funny that kind of applies to your life still. Right, like from such a young age, it's kind of been the philosophy, and it's still the philosophy.
But and speaking about racing and having communication with your crew chief, has it affected that at all?
I don't think so. That's one thing I feel like I've worked with some great guys, and they all know me. They all know I stutter, and even when I have a helmet on, because when you're talking to me, like sometimes I do get stuck on a word or something, and they can't see my mouth, but somehow they know that I'm just caught up. So like they just wait, and I don't. It's never been issue really, and the only time where like it's been a problem, I think, is in 2014 when AMA had, I think, 6 rounds. Then Road Racing World had their own series. I don't know if you guys were racing that or not.
No, I remember it. Yeah. We're Supersport.
That's what I thought. But so we had those 3 rounds. So at that time, that was my first year with Yamaha with Graves. And so Yamaha was making a big push to do social media stuff. So those 3 those 3 other races, they would always want to interview me on the grid and stuff. And that 2014 year was horrible for me. And so my stutter was really bad because I was just nervous the whole time. So it got to the point with Ron Heben. I told him, like, hey, you can't interview me before I go out and race, because it's just my confidence is going down right before I put my helmet on to go out. So I'm like we can't do this. Like, and I think that's really the only time it's really hurt me. But like there's been times like at Laguna this year, I got interviewed before race 2, I think, and like I could hear it. And a lot of times when I can hear myself talking and I start stuttering, then it gets worse. But like I could hear myself do it, and like the interview was perfect. So then before the race, I was ready to go.
So still to this day, you're like always still critiquing yourself, trying to be better and better and better.
Yeah,
that's
for
cool,
sure.
Though. No, that's cool. All right.
What about obviously you spent time in Europe doing the Rebel Rookies Cup stuff, which I wanted to get into anyway. But like when you went and did that, like how much more challenging was it going to countries that didn't speak English to begin with and having to deal with that? Like, did you
speak any other languages?
No, I know a little bit of bad words in Spanish, but
What do you think if you learned another language full on, you'd stutter in the language too?
No, I'd still stutter because when
imagine take off Spanish like perfect.
Yeah. No, I was trying to learn Spanish at one point, but I was like, maybe if I learned Spanish or Italian, like I wouldn't stutter. And then like I started learning some words. I'm like, oh, I got this. And then like it started getting a little bit more in depth, and I started stuttering. So I'm like, son of a bitch. but yeah, I mean, going to Europe, it's almost a little easier because you speak broken English over there. So like you had to like say small words and like really break it up. So it's I think I'm almost better.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And it's not as like you have to go as deep into it all the time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not. I guess not as complex. You're not piecing everything together.
Yeah.
But
we bid this thing up, I guess, pretty good. I wanted to ask for people that don't know much about it, like are there certain things that people can be more aware of, like when they're talking with you, that is helpful? Like fans or just in general, like, or if somebody else knows somebody who has a stutter, like, because it's not something, people don't go up and ask these kind of questions generally, you know what I mean? But are there certain things that helps it for you when you're talking with somebody?
It's weird because stuff that I've watched and read, people that stutter, they don't like it when people finish their words. But like for me, if like I'm stuck on something, like if somebody spits it out, then like that's fine. And so I think the biggest thing is like just if you don't know the person, just let them finish. And don't laugh. It's we're not doing it on purpose. And like it's so hard because stuttering when you do it, there's some people just can't get the word out. Some people make a face. Some people like shake. So like it's just you just got to be patient.
I always wondered that if people like the words finished or not.
I do.
Yeah, I just never
get it over with.
Yeah, all right.
I feel like I would imagine though for some people it kind of feels like you the person that's correcting them or finishing, it feels like they are correcting them. Like it's like
Yeah.
they're not capable, or I could see how that could be kind of rude.
It'd be horrible for me because I always jump in anyways. 'Cause I'm ridiculous with it. So I'd be like the worst person for it.
Oh man. Speaking of like your parents and whatnot, you mentioned your mom and dad getting divorced. It sounded like they had some stuff at home that wasn't great anyway. Was it kind of a relief or like a good thing in certain ways when that happened? And then what happened with your mom? Like, is she just kind of out of the picture after that, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was when she left, it was focused on racing. So, and they fought a lot. So like when she left, like the fighting was done at least. And it's kind of like I don't have a relationship with her. Like I haven't seen her in probably 20 years almost.
Wow.
I've talked to her a little bit, and she's tried to reach out and amend things, and I don't hold anything against her. Like I don't have a grudge against her. Like I have no problems with her, but I just feel like we're past a relationship. I mean, I'm respectful for what she did for me as a child, but I feel like we just have two different lives, and I think if she understands that, then we could maybe talk a little bit. But for me, I'm not somebody that talks on the phone. Like I don't like talking on the phone at all, and especially because I stutter, so it just makes it worse sometimes. And unless I'm going racing, I'm not gonna travel. So like, we don't have a great relationship. But for me, I'm okay with it. Like I think at times like she's aggravated about it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I can imagine that's difficult. Is that kind of the compass for everything? Is like if it's productive for racing, then you have space for it. If it's not, it's kind of just like doesn't really need to exist.
I would say so up until a couple years ago. Like I'm still bad about it, but like trying to balance life a little bit more, and honestly, it changed a lot when Frankie Lee and Hayden both had kids. Just realizing there's more outside of racing, and so, but like, I mean, to this day, like, I'm lucky because my family and friends understand me, but I still struggle like putting something else first from racing.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard even, like getting engaged and that kind of stuff, like having to like put the time aside for somebody else is really difficult. I mean, I know James his girlfriend's finally coming over to the U.S. and he's gonna have to live through that himself too, because spending 6 hours a day on the bicycle when you got a chick at home isn't the easiest.
Dude, D-Day, man. It's coming.
He's got a big clock on the wall of his house, just counting down every day till Nicky gets her green card.
He's trying to lose weight right now, so then when she gets here, then it evens out a little bit.
Probably.
I want to cut, dude. I want to cut. No, it's tough. I mean, I remember going through it as well, like growing up, Big Phil was, hey, man, like no girls, no nothing. Like we're racing, we're doing it. And like, it's tough, missing proms, missing this, missing school, missing college, right? Like the first time I did anything was this bad influence. Going to my first house party was with this guy. So no, like I totally can sympathize with that. Is like it's maybe not as gnarly, but it's tough. I also think with racing, like you mentioned earlier, there's really nothing that is as high. Like I haven't found anything as high, like ever, to be able to, like, I tried to quit twice. And when I say quit, retire, whatever, like, it's so difficult to get out of this box that we can call racing, or in this high of being somewhat good, right? Like we're all, I don't know, like we're all really good, but it seems really difficult to find something to fill that that void. And I think most people as professional athletes can sympathize with that as well. But it's interesting to hear, when you put everything into it. I think everybody can understand in racing what that really means.
Yeah, I just know I'm extremely grateful for what racing has done for me, but also the family and friends I have around me. So like even this last weekend, I rode my track on my land. Like it was just me riding. I did 2 40-minute stints, and I had friends and family there that just came to hang out and watch me ride. Like, because they knew that's what I was doing on that day. Like they knew Saturday I'm riding. So like they make the effort to come out. And I'm riding a turn track for 40 minutes. It's not something special to watch, but they just hang out. And then so when I'm off the bike, they're there to bullshit and talk, and then I go back out and ride. So to me, that's really special.
So that's something that you've just really grasped with the OWB.
Yeah.
Right? Being in Kentucky is
For
being
sure.
able to really make a life there. And, I think you have, you've got a bunch of land, and you got a building, just a building is what you have?
Yeah. So I bought, that was another thing, like the money stuff. Like I didn't learn a lot of what to do. And so the years that I did make some decent money, I just saved it. Like I didn't spend it on anything. And then Uncle Sam came knocking, and I didn't have any write-offs, nothing. And so then once I started making some money, I'm like, okay, I got to spend this. So what's going to make me be a better racer? I don't need a house. That's not going to make me a better racer. I need land with a track. So I got extremely lucky. Like a quarter mile down the road from the house, there was 28 acres for sale. Or actually, it wasn't even for sale. I found out who owned it, and I asked them if they would sell it. And they were 2 weeks away from building a house. And because they had just built the pole barn, which you saw. So they were going to live in the pole barn while they built the house. So that has like a kitchen in it. But like I can't live in a kitchen. So with the Gillims, in our garage at the house, I've got a room upstairs. So I basically have an apartment. So with them, I'm like, I can buy this land and have a track. Is that, but I'm still gonna live here, and they didn't care. So I bought that land so I could ride. That was like that. Like I didn't care about living in my own house, but I was lucky enough at that time to have guidance. So I bought it on a 10-year mortgage. So I'll have it paid off next year. So then at some point I will build a house there, and so I have a place to live when I'm ready. But until then, I got a place to ride.
That's so funny.
That is so funny. That is.
It's all about riding. So when you made the move to Kentucky, how did that work with your dad? I mean, you weren't like of age, right? So it wasn't like he was it signing over custody or something like that to the Gillims? Like how did you're just like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go live here, and they just took care of you, and that was it. Like it was that simple.
Whose idea was it in the first place?
I think it was all like me, Frankie and Hayden. Like because I was there for Christmas, and so we're like, it'd be cool if I lived here. and like I had just got my license, so I could drive. So I'm like, why not I just pack my stuff up, and I'm already here, so why not just go grab my stuff and I'll move? And so that's basically how it happened. And my dad was okay with it because I think he knew for my life and for racing, it was going to be better for both. And so they were awesome. Like they brought me in, and at this point, like my dad had spent everything he had. Like he was just getting by, and so it was basically kind of on me to pay for my racing, which I was lucky enough to have sponsors and stuff that helped me, but the Gillims, like they paid for my cell phone, they paid for my car insurance. Like so, I bought a van that was like $1,000, and then they put it in their name and paid for the insurance, so it was all in their name. So like stuff that because they're not rich, but so like stuff that they could help me with, they did. and I was just instantly a part of the family, and like, man, I was yelled at if I didn't do chores or whatever. Like, it just kind of flowed in.
Wow. What was it like, kind of the dynamic, at the time? Because Hayden, you would have been how old when you moved in?
I was 16.
And Hayden was, so what, he's like
3
years younger than you?
Yeah, he was 13, 14.
So that was like the Rookies Cup time for him as well, right?
Yeah, so I just raced the Rookies Cup the year before, the first year, and then so I was going into my second year, and he was doing the Rookies Cup in 08 here
in the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, how was that? How did that work out with, like, Hayden's racing? Hayden and Frankie Lee were both racing in the Red Bull Rookies Cup in America. You're going to Europe racing. Like, were you doing that on your own?
Yeah. So in 07, to back up just a little bit. So when I was a kid, I got lucky enough to go to American Super Camp. I met Danny Walker, and at that time, Danny and Chris Carr saw potential in me. So then after my first camp, I got to come to the camps for free. So I went to a bunch of camps. I would go as a student, then I would go as an instructor or whatever. And so through Super Camp, I got some great sponsors, but then I met the Bostroms. And so at the time when I met the Bostroms, Norm Viano was the Bostroms manager. So Eric and Ben were like, hey, this kid has a future. You should try and help him. So it just kind of all snowballed. We could talk about it for a while, but just to fast forward. So in 07, Norm... or in 06, Norm went with me to the tryout for the Rookies Cup. And I was a Red Bull athlete at the time. And I got sponsored by Red Bull, I think in 02 or 003.
Oh, wow.
So I was young. But so Norm found out about the Rookies Cup before everybody, kind of like here. So he signed me up. We went over. I'd road raced. I think I'd road raced one time. Like, I'd never rode a two-stroke. Like, a two-stroke road race bike. I went over there and tried out, and I was one of the 3 Americans to make it. Probably because I was sponsored by Red Bull. Like, I was definitely not fast enough. So and at that tryout, Cameron was there. So
OBA.
Yeah, and so Norm and I were eating dinner. So because it was a 3-day. So like, you tried out and then you got selected to come back for the last day. So after my tryout, Norm and I were eating dinner, and Norm's like, I think I want to try to help Cameron too. And he's like, do you care? I'm like, I don't care, whatever. So fast forward, so Norm ended up managing me and Cameron. So in 07, Norm got a lump sum from Red Bull, and it wasn't much, for me, Cameron, Chris Turner, and Norm to go to Europe.
Chris Turner, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And so so Norm was my parent, basically, because one of Cameron's parents would usually go with us, his mom or dad, like they would take turns. But so it'd be me, Norm, Cameron, and then one of his parents, maybe. But so Norm got money, but he was paying for it out of his pocket, basically. So we would go over there and we would sleep in a minivan between races. Like we would get hotel rooms for the race weekends, but traveling, like we would sleep in a minivan or whatever. But so at that time, Norm got to know Casey Stoner. So then me and Cameron got to know him. And so then during the race weekends, we would go hang out with Casey, because Casey wanted to do anything but race a motorcycle. Like, he had so much talent, but between sessions, his wife would have, and because he was only a couple years older than we are, and between sessions, his wife would have to make him stop playing Xbox. Like, because we'd be playing Xbox and playing Call of Duty or whatever, and she'd be like, "Hey, you need to get dressed," and we'd be like, "Oh, well, we're almost done." Like,
that's insane.
Yeah. So then we got to know Casey really well, and I think Casey didn't like the limelight, and I think because Cameron and I were young. We were naive a little bit. Like we knew what Casey was doing, but we didn't care.
Right.
So we just treated him like one of our friends. So like I think he enjoyed it. And so in 2008, when I was the last year I did it, Norm, I guess, basically, I mean, because I was young, so Norm basically just planned it out with Casey for me to live with him when I was there. So I would fly from the U.S. to Europe, meet up with Casey, and then, I mean, I can't believe it, but Casey would just let me live with him. And then when we'd fly within Europe, he would just book my flight. Like, I just was dialed. But I didn't realize it at the time. Like, I just thought this was just what was happening. And I think that's kind of from when I was younger. Like, I just, whatever's working, you just go with the flow. So I think the whole time I raced in Europe, my dad came over maybe twice.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, there was times where, I mean, I flew over and I had some issues, like my cell phone didn't work. So I get to Europe and I got no cell phone. I'm 15, 16, yeah.
Don't even know who to call.
Yeah.
When you said your dad only made it over a couple of times, did that bother you at all?
I yes and no. Like because by that time he had spent so much money for me to go, or he had gone in debt so far for me to go racing. If I didn't do well, like it was a big problem. And so I think it was kind of easier to not have him there on the bad days because he would not be pumped. But at the end of 2008, I think that was kind of when I was like over it a little bit going alone, because I won the title in 2008. Most of the races I was there alone because Norm was running the Rookies Cup in the U.S., so he didn't have as much time to go. And I still remember it at Brno, I wrapped up the title. And Casey had won the GP title the year before in 2007. And in 2008, I think they had changed the bike a little bit, and he was crashing a lot. And I remember at Brno, he crashed. And so, and like that was like the final straw. Like the points were too big. Like because he would kind of make points back, crash, and then go back. Kind of make points, but at Brno, like that was the time that like he wasn't gonna make that back. And I had got done racing, and my bike broke actually, but I still won the title, and I had nobody there. And so I get a championship hat. Like that was like my trophy. I got a championship hat. And I was at the Red Bull hospitality area, you know, how like they had here. Mm. And so I was with my bike and my mechanic that barely spoke English. And then I was like, I guess I'm going to go back to the motorhome. So I went back to the motorhome, which I avoided for a while because I knew Casey wasn't going to be pumped, and which I understood completely. So I get back there and he's sitting there like re-watching the race, and I remember his wife sitting next to him and like kind of just rubbing his back, and I didn't say anything. Because like I was staying with him already, so I just walked in, and I sat down, and I'm just kind of I had a BlackBerry, so I was playing Brick Breaker. I don't know if you guys played that, so I'm just playing that, and I guess they looked up and they saw my hat, and they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's my championship hat." And they're like, then they got excited for me, but it was hard because like nobody was really excited for me. But one thing that Casey and his wife did that was really cool, I made a deal with Norm that in 2006 when Nicky won the title at Valencia, I was like, I'm not gonna eat ice cream until I win a title. So in 2008 at Brno, they came back and they brought me ice cream, and like because they remembered that. So like it was cool that like even on a day like that, they like, because I didn't mention it, and they brought me a big old bowl of ice cream back.
That's awesome. Did you have any pictures of it?
Of what?
Do you eating the ice cream or anything?
No, I mean I was 2008. Like I mean I had a BlackBerry.
There's no camera on that thing or what?
I don't have the phone no more. So
That's insane.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I was always wondering about that 2008 year because it's kind of like, I mean, undocumented a little bit. Like it's hard to find. You can see some pictures and stuff like that, but I've never really heard the stories of you racing in '08.
Yeah.
We know the belt. You got a belt buckle.
No, that belt buckle was for Red Bull party at Laguna, but I just thought it was cool, so I'd tuck my shirt behind it so everybody would
I remember
see.
the belt buckle. That was the biggest thing I remember.
Yeah.
Is JD and his Red Bull belt buckle.
Yeah.
So that whole Red Bull Rookies Cup, I mean, experience. Who were some of the guys you were racing against when you won the title?
I was racing against Oliveira. Louis Salam was there, which he passed away in 2018. I'm drawing blanks right now, but I know like the year before, Zarco was in it. Salvadori was in it. Yeah, I mean I don't right now. I'm drawing. I know there's guys that are still racing that were there that year, but I'm drawing blanks for some reason.
That was always one of my biggest things. Was like, so what happened following that year that didn't turn into anything? Because obviously some of the names you rode around, that time is very difficult for Americans. Probably like now, if an American won the Rookies Cup championship, it'd probably be a lot more advantageous. But back then, it didn't seem like there was a lot of doors. Like what happened? Why'd you come home?
So at that point, that was when the recession hit. So that didn't help. At that time, they had Nicky, Hopkins, Colin, and Speeds was making his way over there. So they didn't really need an American. And there was the Red Bull Academy that raced in the Spanish series. And so after the Rookies Cup, I did the last like three rounds, but I was going back. Like I wish I wasn't this way, but I was over being in Europe. So like I was barely making the grid. Like I had just won the Rookies Cup and then I was barely making, I mean, there was 80 guys I would try to qualify. So I mean, I was still beating half the guys, but still I wasn't performing. And then the academy was done after 08 too, because I was supposed to go to the academy in 09 because that's what Cameron did in 08 and then kind of take that step. But it just never worked out. So I came back to race in the US.
Did Cameron win the championship the year before?
No, but he was fast. He crashed a lot, but he was fast. And I at that time, like there wasn't the recession. Like he was. They really wanted to help him keep going.
Because he was. It would have been PJ was there in like 06 maybe or 07.
He was there in 08 too, because I raced with him in the Spanish series a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's so crazy. Just
everything's overlapping.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that the whole story of like that is overlapping, and the three of you is really our generation that's kind of gone and done that Rookie Cup thing. Because then Marquez was a few years behind you guys.
No, he was right there.
Yeah. So Mark was doing the Spanish series, and then Cameron and Mark were teammates in 09.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah. That was wild.
Was there any conversations, or you didn't even want to stay in Europe at that point?
I honestly I don't remember. Like I think there was a part of me that wanted to stay, but also that was when Norm was running the Rookies Cup in the US, and he was dealing with all of that debacle, trying to keep that going. And so he just didn't have time to go to Europe to work on stuff, and I didn't know what to do. Like
yeah, you were young.
Yeah,
you would have been what at that time, 16, not even
16, 17 maybe.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was 16. But yeah, just nothing transpired at all. But luckily, Norm, when I came back to the U.S. in 09, he kind of helped get some stuff rolling.
Right, that's how you ended up on the Cowie thing. Was that right after that?
2009 we raced dirt track.
Yeah, so I was racing dirt track.
This motherfucker took me out.
You've been saving that one for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, so I came back to race. I wanted to road race still, and so me and Frankie Lee got 600s that we built to go road racing in '09, and luckily I had some money from Red Bull, but like, I mean, I had to pay for it all. And so we built 600s in our garage. Like me, Frankie Lee, his dad, Hayden, like we had friends that would come over and help drill bolts out and stuff. So like,
were these the Hondas?
Hondas, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I remember these Hondas.
Yeah, they were slow. Like
I remember you at Road America with these Hondas.
Yeah, and I remember the first race I did. So I just won the Rookies Cup the year before. I go to Road Atlanta, never been there, never rode the track. I couldn't do the track day the day before because back then, remember they used to do track days on Thursday. I couldn't afford to do that. So my first practice out on Thursday, I was 20 seconds slower than Joey Pasquarella and Huntley Nash. I'm like, what? I'm over. Like, I'm done. Like, it ended up getting a little bit, but 20 seconds. Like, they lapped me in practice. Like,
It's tough.
And so, like, to fast forward a little bit, halfway through the year, I'm like, we were barely getting by. We had problems because we didn't know what we were doing. And Rockwall had switched to Yamahas at this point, and I was actually getting support from Honda a little bit, like no money, just some bikes and stuff. But so I went up to the Rockwall guys and asked them, like, "Hey, do you guys have any Hondas left from the year before?" And they asked me, so we talked about it, and so I ended up connecting Norm and them together. So Norm worked it out with Honda that I could ride their Yamahas, but I was still riding the Hondas on dirt track because I'd only do the dirt track races where I knew I could win because I needed the money. So like I would only do the races that I had a feeling I could win. So I'd race the Honda on dirt track. They'd still pay me contingent. I think they might have done. They were because I wasn't on the right year, but they'd still pay me, and just because I was like just begging for it.
Yeah.
But so Norm called me. He was like, "Hey, you can ride these Yamahas for Rockwall, but it's $10,000 a weekend." I said, "Okay, no problem."
No way.
Yeah.
I remember the yellow bikes because
Yeah.
you and Cameron were teammates.
The next year.
Oh, okay. This was the first year.
First year. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay, no problem. So I had money left from Red Bull because I think they gave me $20,000 that year. And so I'd spent $10,000 already, and from the dirt track races, like I had $10,000 left, and so I get to the track, and the first race was Mid Ohio, and so I go there, and I pay him $10,000 at the beginning of the weekend. It's I write him a check for $10,000, and so I'm like this covers it all, right? And they're like, no, you got to pay tires. I'm like, got to pay tires. That check might not even cash. so I'm like, hey, how about if I get on the podium? Because I hadn't even been, I think, top 5, like maybe barely top 10. I'm like, hey, if I get on the podium, you guys pay for my tires. And Mark Foster, which was the crew chief, he was like, you know what, I'll take that deal. So I got 4th. I'm like, Mark, can you please pay for these tires? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And he's like, you rode great. Like, because I battled for the podium the whole race. So I'm like, okay. So it was a race by race thing. The next race was Topeka. So I'm like, hey, we good for, or no, next one was VIR Topeka. I can't remember. But so I'm like, we good. I'm like, I'll bring you $10,000 again. And I'm like, hey, if I get on the podium, you guys pay for the tires. And they're like, yeah. So we go to the next race. I scrounge from the contingency and stuff. I scrounge up $5,000. I take the $5,000. I'm like, hey, this is all I got, but I'll get you. I'm like,
Here's an IOU.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll get you the rest of the money. But I'm like, if I get on the podium, you're paying for the tires, right? And they're like, yep. So I get 3rd. So the next race, I think it's either Topeka or VIR. It was Topeka, then VIR. We go to VIR. I'm like, hey, I got no money, but I got these 600s that are street bikes. I'm like, I'll give you these. And these things were hammered. And they're like, okay. I'm like,
Hondas?
Yeah. But I'm like, if I get on the podium, you're paying for the tires. And like, yep. So I get 2nd. So we go to New Jersey. I got no money. Like I barely get there. So I get there. I'm like, hey, you guys.
This is on Thursday?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, if I get on the podium, you're paying for the tires. Yep. So I get on the podium, and I got to pay him. I got no money. I go to Walmart and I get a fake briefcase and Monopoly money. I filled up with Monopoly money. Michael Worrell and Mark Foster sitting in the rider lounge. I walk in with my trophy and the briefcase. I'm like, here you guys go. I'm like, this is all I got. And they took it. Like they were. I mean, they knew I was scraping, and so it was. I mean, that's how I got my start. Like but I was racing the dirt track races to pay to get to the road races, to pay to race there, and so the next year with Cameron, Red Bull and Top One both put in money to pay for our ride, but we had to pay to get there and we had to pay for our tires. And I begged them, and they were not going to pay because there's two of us. So that's when I was really doing the dirt track races. Because if I won the dirt track races and won both races at the road races, I could pay for my tires and get to the next race.
Wow,
That's insane. That's a story right there.
that is really
And I mean, I remember they had the big semi and everything. That's so crazy to hear these stories when you come out, because you're like, from the outside, Red Bull, you're on like one of the best bikes in that supersport class at the time. And, you know, for somebody, it was always like, I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking got it, dude.
Yeah.
But to hear that, it's like, that's insane.
I think that's so much of racing is just like smoke and mirrors, you know. Like from the outside, if you didn't know any better, it all looks so good, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how that goes. But was it I don't want to say depressing, but did you kind of take the time to reflect on the fact that you won a world championship? I mean, you literally won a world championship, and then you had to come home and figure out how to pay for tires, like, or was it just you were just so focused on moving forward?
I think I was so focused on moving forward. I at times a little bit now, like I'm like, because I have nothing from that. I have the gold medal, but when I won it, KTM would give you a dirt bike, but I knew the next year, like, I was gonna have to pay to go racing. So Norm made a deal with KTM, with a shop in the U.S. to give me the cash instead of getting the bike. So like I didn't. So that was like little. Like I had nothing to show for. Like I was gonna get a dirt bike. I don't even got that because I got to spend the money to go racing.
Yeah.
And at that time, so when you came back and you did the Rock World, where was this within the Haydens per like view cycle? Because you were with the Gillims, so and Hayden was kind of like, from his podcast, he was close with the Haydens. And then where did you fit in with all that? Because Jake was underneath you with Earl.
Yeah.
But you were still like kind of in the circle, or no? So
at this point, for these years, that was kind of when Hayden was out of the Earl's racing team thing.
Okay.
So it was me, Hayden, Frankie Lee, and at that time Hayden was racing Weira stuff. So me and Hayden and Frankie Lee would go, and because in 2010, Frankie Lee was kind of doing more Weira stuff than pro stuff. So I would drive us all to a track, and we would set up. I would work on Hayden's bike usually on Friday for the track day, and then his parents would come. So like me and Hayden were just doing it all, and like I couldn't do the track day or the club race because I couldn't afford to do it. So it was just a team thing, and so at that time, that was before I kind of got in training and stuff with the Haydens. So
before we get any deeper into it, we're deep into it, but
yeah.
We're doing Law Tigers Tech Tip. You've listened to the podcast, so you kind of know what it's about. But obviously, that period of time, you were working on your own stuff. It sounded like building your own bike in the garage. Like, did you learn? Where did you learn any of that stuff as far as like mechanical skills? Was it because you were at home working with your dad on your bike growing up?
So growing up, my dad didn't let me touch a bike. Like, he was particular. Like, he didn't let me do anything. So when I moved to Kentucky, I didn't know how to adjust my chain.
Oh wow!
So then with all of us, Frankie, Hayden's dad didn't have time to work on 3 bikes. So like I was thrown to the fire, and so like I had to learn fast. But so I would say the biggest tech tip is getting a torque wrench. Like, because if you torque everything, you know it's not going to come loose, and you're not going to strip it out, because I stripped out a lot of bolts.
As long as the torque specs
Yeah.
in the right range.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. We haven't heard that one, but no, a torque wrench is a good one. Law Tigers are America's motorcycle lawyers. A motorcycle accident isn't something you ever expect, but you need to be prepared in case it does happen. If you or someone you know is ever injured in a motorcycle accident, always call Law Tigers first. The services are of no cost to riders, and they fight to get riders taken care of and back on the road riding again. With Law Tigers, you never ride alone.
Call 1-800 Law Tigers, baby.
LawTigers.com. Yeah, no, I like that. What
That was great.
It's so surreal, like hearing you, like seeing you guys.
Because all he hears is
Yeah, like because I am a fan of the podcast, and so like actually like seeing it happen is pretty cool.
dude, we're superstars.
Dude, we made it.
Dude, we're the freaking world champ, man.
That was one thing I did want to ask though. Is like, it's kind of peculiar, I guess, that you were living in Owensboro at this point when you're doing the Rookies Cup. Right down the road from Nicky. Owensboro isn't a big place, but you were living with Casey, right? And they were racing against each other at that time. So was that kind of a weird dynamic in the sense that like you were from the same small little town in Kentucky as this other guy who's racing on the world stage, but you're basically at that point roommates with one of his competitors?
No, like because at the GP races, Casey and Nicky, their RVs were right next to each other, and so they were fine. They were fine with each other, and I would even go over to Nicky's and knock on the door and go in and hang out a little bit. So like and at that time like I wasn't into training and stuff. So like when we're at home, like I never saw them. So like it wasn't weird or anything.
That's interesting. So then, but you were just getting ready to say you started training with Nicky and kind of, I know the Gillim clan, they kind of all started talking again. At what point was that?
So I think I want to say like 2010, I was on a group ride, and it was so like we live on the east side of town and the Haydens are on the west side of town. So one of the group rides I was doing was on the west side of town, and Nicky was home for it, so he came and did the ride. It had been 2010, but so we got done with the ride, and he rode over because he rode to the ride, but I drove, and he rode over to my van, and he was like, "Hey, if you ever want to come bicycle with me, here's my phone number." So then I got his phone number. So then we started riding a little bit, and then that's when I started to get to know Roger. So then so then it just kind of snowballed a little bit, and then I think in 2011 I rode with Tommy like every day almost. Like we rode bicycles every single day, and then it just kind of built, and then I started riding their turn track with them. So it just kind of built until, which Jake talked about, he moved there. So then like I was blacklisted.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and I always wondered that, like, because I rode with them a lot, and then like it just like kind of went quiet. But Earl was helping Jake, so like they didn't want me to see what they're doing. They didn't want me training with them, which I mean I was young enough and not naive enough. I like, because they would post something that they wrote. I'm like, hey, why don't you guys let me know the next time you're riding or what? And like I never heard from them. But then like it kind of turned back into where I guess Jake moved up. So then we weren't racing each other. So then that's when we all started to ride together. And like from I guess 2015 on, like me, Jake, Nicky, Roger, because Tommy was done racing by then. Nick McFadden, Hayden, like we were riding a lot together.
Were you ever part of the Earls racing team? Like,
no.
Did you ever get any support?
No.
So the Honda stuff and all that was just, everything came from Norm?
Norm and Danny Walker.
Oh, yeah, because he was a big Honda guy before then. That's wow. Okay. And then when was the big pivotal? So I'm assuming skipping a little bit, but the Rockwell was like the real pivotal moment in your road race career.
It's hard because like I started building, I won the title, and then they were done. So then in 2000, 2011 was when I rode the attack bike, and I started the year out and
Superbike.
I started the year out on the 600, and I did the 200, and Eric did the 1000 and the 600, and after Daytona he quit. He was done, and so Richard called me. He was like, and I mean I was 18 at the time, and he called me and he's like, hey, Eric's done. I'm going racing with a superbike. If you want to go racing, AMA said you can be on probation or whatever, but you can ride a superbike. But you have to come do this test in Utah to prove that you can ride it. I'm like, okay, like either that or I'm not racing. So then I did that, and that year was horrible. I had one good race going at Utah, and I crashed. And then my probation thing, I had to make it through a race weekend without crashing, and it kept getting worse because like the AMA guys were like, hey, don't crash this weekend, and then I had another racer. I don't want to get into it, but it's like somebody had a incident with me on track, and they did not want me out there, so they tried to get my license pulled.
Was that at Infineon?
Yeah, and
I was there,
and so that was a whole debacle, and so the year just like it didn't go good, and so then at that time Danny Walker was starting his team, the road race factory team. So 2012, 2013, I was with him, kind of let me rebuild because 2012 wasn't it was an okay year. 2013, I kind of started getting my feet under me again, and I was battling Garrett and Cameron because they were both on the 600s for Graves.
Yeah, because I was 13. I was on the Zook.
Yes.
Yep,
yeah.
I was in there with you.
And so every race weekend, I'd go talk to Keith McCarty. I'm like, because I knew Cameron was moving, because me and Cameron have always been tight, because I helped him get the rock wall ride in 2010. So like we've always been close. And so he told me before everybody knew that he was moving up. So he's like, hey, you need to talk to Keith. So every weekend I'll talk to Keith. So at the end of 13, Keith called me and offered me a deal. And so 14 came around. I'm riding for factory Yamaha. I go to the first test. I have factory Yamaha leathers. 5 laps in, destroy a bike. Just destroy it. And then I kept crashing the thing. And then at Daytona, we had a problem with the bike. I high-sided on the banking, like coming on, like where you got all crazy. High-sided there, hit my head. I was riding like crap. I'm like, my one shot I got, I'm going to blow it. And so I actually went to a hypnotist and did that. Yeah, I know. I was desperate. I was gonna do whatever. So I went to a hypnotist, and he was somebody that helped people stop smoking. Like, but I'm like, hey, I'm like
in Kentucky, or where are we talking?
It was in Kentucky, and so like I got to do that. Like I got to do something, and I don't know if that's what it was, but the year turned around, and by the end of the year, like I did good enough to keep my ride in 15. And then I feel like 15 was the turning point for my career. Like that's when I came on the scene. I won my first race, won my first title. Like that was what really, yeah.
All right, roll back, that whole year asking Keith, I want to ride, blah, 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 blah. What was that phone call like? Like, this is something you've dreamed of, a factory seat in true factory. Like, what's that phone call like from Keith McCarty? Did you know it was coming?
No, we were a big group of us. We're going to eat Mexican, because I think like it was on a Wednesday, and for the adults it was $2 margarita night or whatever. And I remember exactly which one we were going to, where like the table we're at. And my phone rang and it said Keith McCarty, and I knew I was going to be getting a call. Either I got the ride or I didn't get the ride. So I'm like, hello?
Did you go outside or did you stay in?
No, I was driving there.
Okay.
I was driving there, and he called me. I'm like, yeah. Well, yeah. Like that's what started. I mean, I had the contract and all that. Like I had to do all that stuff, but like he called me to say, "We want you." Like it was just crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the rides that I've gotten has happened like that. Like I can remember exactly where I was when I got a phone call.
I can remember that too. I haven't got many, but a few.
Yeah.
What was that first contract like for a factory? Because you've been paying essentially the whole time except for the second year in Rockwell. What was that first contract?
It seemed like a lot until I dove into it, like because the contract, like because the contract amount had like my travel budget and had this, had that, like so like I my first contract was $35,000, I think. But to me, I'm like,
Wait, and you had to pay travel out of that?
No, like my salary was $35,000, I think. Plus, I had a little bit from Monster and then a little bit for travel. But like, I just saw that number. I'm like, I'm rich.
I'm rich. I made it, baby.
Yeah, and so like, but like looking back now, I'm like, I rode for $35,000 on a factory team. Like, but
Kind of goes back to the same thing though. Like it's smoke and mirrors. Right?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, because it's like
That's
everyone else
crazy.
looking at it's like,
Dude,
he's gonna have to work
Yeah.
ever again. He's
yeah,
set.
I know.
that's crazy that it was that small the first year.
Yeah.
Big bonuses?
The bonuses were good. I didn't get any the first year.
Yeah.
But the Daytona 200 bonus, whew, that was. I mean, I didn't get it, but like
They used to say it was six figures.
oh, it was.
No way.
Yes, yeah, and I was doing the math like, yeah, I could have had a good year, but I didn't do good.
So did something change from?
The hypnotist, man.
No. Did something change contract wise? Did the bonuses all change the following year?
So we didn't have Daytona the next year because that was the first year
Oh, yeah.
of MotoAmerica. So the race bonuses were still good. The championship bonus was still good, but the salary was the same. If I won the title, which I did in 15, my salary went up. Then the next year I didn't win the title, and it went right back down.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Keith ended up giving me a little bit more, but it went down. Yeah.
So it was heavily bonused
Yeah. Oh yeah.
with very little salary.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
But
insane.
yeah. Not like I don't want to sound like an asshole, but like when I'd get those bonus, like, cause I got a check, like it wasn't direct deposit, I got a check, and when I'd walk into the bank and I need to deposit that, like it was cool.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't happen anymore, but
Yeah.
like back then, like and then my championship bonus, I'm like, I mean, I walk in like flip flops and like
Yeah.
what I'm wearing now, and like they see the check and like you can just see them kind of surprised.
Especially down there in Owensboro.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When you were saying you're like having to come up with $10,000 or like, you know, whatever the case is, like even now, if someone's saying you got to pay $10,000 on a weekend for a ride, it's like a lot of money. Did that phase you at the time? Or were you like so preconditioned from your dad or whatever the case is that like, whatever, it could have been $50,000. You would have been like, I'll get it to you.
I think at that time, it didn't phase me because I had no responsibilities. Like I didn't have a house. I didn't have and I think that's why for so long I haven't had stuff that I could lose. I'm all in. So back then, like if I ran out of money, like I just sat at the house, and like because I did work a little bit, but so like yeah, back then, like I wasn't worried about it because my dad was all in on racing. And so we just spent all of our money on racing. But if I, for some reason, paid $10,000 and then didn't make any money, like, are they going to take my van that had 300,000 miles on it?
Yeah, what's the worst they're going to
Yeah.
do to you, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about, you know, especially as you get older, right? Like the perspective on that kind of stuff is really interesting. It's like when we were scrounging money together just to go race flat track, whatever it was like $10,000 then was like, whew. If we could just get $10,000, we're good for the whole year.
Yeah.
You know, or
Dude,
whatever it was, just
yeah.
gas money to get to the next race. It was like
Yeah.
enough, and it's like, you know, now you got an RV you got to pay for. And
Yeah, now
car payment.
now
It's like-
it stresses me out. Like I'm grateful that racing is my job, but like I'm all in on racing. So like for me mentally and like the way I approach racing with my training, with my diet, with my everything, like getting a job would be hard. I mean, people do it, and I got kudos to them. But for me to do it the way I want to, like I can't split my time. So racing now, you know how racing is, it goes up and down. Like I had these big checks I'm cashing, and I'd have years where like I'm making my payment on my land. So like it's definitely a stressful thing, but you just have to kind of learn to live with that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Once you got to the factory seat, well, was there any dreams to go back to Europe? Like, because I know you went through like a hard spot, then you get this factory seat, you win a title. Was it, hey, I need to ride this Yamaha thing? I mean, you were a Yamaha athlete and a rider for a long time. Was there any aspirations to go back to Europe?
The only time was at the end of 2018, and that was after I won my second title. I found out at Barber that the 600 program was done. At that time, that was when Roger was retiring, so there's a spot open at Yosh, and I found out I wasn't going to get that ride. So at that point, I was like, I got to go back to Europe. Like, but you can't just go out on a limb and do it. Like I needed to. So like that was the only time I really thought about it, because like I had conversations with Keith McCarty whenever they were trying to decide who they're gonna go with between me and Garrett, because Garrett wanted to go to Europe, and like I was telling Keith, like I'd tell Keith, hey, Garrett wants to go to Europe. I was like, I'm your boy. Like I'm staying here. I want to be a part of this program. But just how it worked out, Garrett won because we both went 1-1 on titles, and then he won the second title. So it just and that like that year is the only year like I kind of regret in racing. But other than that, like,
did you guys know that it was coming to an end when you were racing
the
program?
Well, no, 2017 when Garrett won the title. And because I knew, we knew the program was going again in 18. Okay. But whoever won the title in 17 was basically going to be the one that got the ride when they got rid of Josh. But like Josh wanted to keep going, but they made a seat open. And 2017, I made mistakes with training and nutrition, and I was 20 pounds less than what I am now. Like because Garrett had gone on this diet and got lean and cut. I'm like, well, if he lost some weight, like I gotta lose weight. So I quit eating, just trained as much as I could, and he blew me out of the water because I just had no power, no energy. But it was like I just worked so hard that I wanted it so bad I hurt myself.
That's crazy. That's interesting.
Have you been there?
There? Yeah. Yeah, 2012 and 13. Like there?
Oh, yeah, I remember when you were counting calories.
Yeah,
that was
dude.
tough.
Yeah.
My fitness.
I'd show up like...
But he was eating ice cream. He wasn't...
I'd show up at like 146 pounds, which was like skinny for me. And I'd go back home at like 158 over a weekend. Do with Jordan days. Like, just couldn't. I was so hungry and so miserable.
Yeah. I was 120 pounds.
That's insane.
Yeah, I could never be there, dude.
Yeah.
Could never do that.
That's crazy. What about, so getting into dirt track stuff, you always kind of had dirt track going on, especially when you were trying to pay to go road racing. And then when you did the Grave stuff, you didn't really do anything, maybe like an odd TT or something like that, right?
Yeah, I'd do a race here and there, but not a whole lot.
It seems like a lot of the dirt track guys that went road racing kind of like that community kind of like pushed back on them a little bit if they ever tried to come back. But it seems like in your case, like that's never been the deal. Like they always like are excited when you show up versus like, you know, I don't know, James could probably speak to it more than me because I never really did dirt track stuff, but it just seemed like that was a vibe. Like once you went road racing, you were too good to be a dirt tracker anymore, you know, and you kind of moved on from that. But it seemed like in your case that wasn't how they treated you. Do you feel that way?
yes, until the rule changed, and until the rules changed to help the Yamaha, and they restricted the Indian. Like, I was the outcast then, so it was kind of like, because I do know what you're saying. Like I saw that, and then when I went back flat tracking, like it wasn't like that. Then those rules changed, and like it was like a light switch. So it was kind of hard to deal with.
That's interesting. Yeah. Why do you think that was, that they just kind of, I mean, in general, you're kind of a fan favorite. I would say, like, of all the people you see, like, people just like seem to support you like blindly, you know, and people just like love you for whatever reason. What do you think you contribute that to?
I think for me, that's just because I love racing, and like I'm extremely grateful for the life that racing has given me, but I know we wouldn't go racing if it wasn't for the fans. And so like I try really hard to, at the end of the day, when I take my suit off, I'm just a normal guy. Like I don't have superpowers, like, and so like I just try to really relate with the fans, and I think one thing that's helped me a lot is my dogs. Like I love my dogs, and like I get asked more about my dogs at the races now than about the races. So like I just try to I just we're all normal people that enjoy something in life. So we're just trying to connect with them more.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but do you think the stuttering kind of in a way connects you with people? Like they feel like you're more of just like a normal person instead of some like superhuman guy who races bikes?
Yeah, I think so. Like I think it shows
the human side, maybe.
Yeah, the human side, and I'm vulnerable because like, I mean, I do this kind of stuff, and like, and I think being on TV doing interviews and stuff, and them seeing that like I'm not like some crazy athlete or whatever.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Jimmy,
the Essendon Yamaha. The first year you did it with a road racer too, right? You guys did both.
Yep.
Right. What was that deal like? Why did Tim decide to? Did he want to give you a shot?
So
why?
So at the end of 2018, when I knew Yamaha was done, I text him because Kobe Carlisle was riding for him, and Kobe used to live with me some. So I got Tim's phone number from Kobe. I was like, and because I still had a Yamaha contract, but there's still 2 flat track races left that year, and so I text him. I was like, hey, can I come do these last 2 races on a Yamaha? And because at that time Jake Johnson was riding for him, but he didn't like the Yamaha, so he was riding a Indian that was painted blue. And so Tim's like, yeah, no problem. So long story short, I do the last two races, and I get a 6th and a 5th, and Tim was pumped. And so at that time I had nothing going for the next year, and we were kind of, Jake Zimke, who was my agent at the time and I still work with, he was working on something for me to road race again on a 600. And I didn't want to ride a 600 again. Like I felt like I proved myself. But so we worked out a deal with Tim that I would do all the dirt track races that didn't conflict with the road races with the 600 deal that I had going. And on Thanksgiving, I get a text from Tim, we need to talk. I'm like, oh my God. And so he calls me. He's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I'm just eating some Thanksgiving food. What's going on with you? He's like, I'm like, what? I'm like, is something wrong? He's like, no, why? He's like, I'm like, your text like did not sound good. He was like, oh, he's like, how would you feel about riding a superbike next year? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, I've already got it all worked out, because he had talked to Jake Zimke. Jake Zimke talked to Richard at Attack, like planned it all out. So I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. He's like, okay, well, he's like, if you're going to road race, you're going to road race for me and dirt track for me. I'm like, deal.
No way.
Yeah. So it would just snowball like that. And it was an amazing year until the end. Like I got my first dirt track win. It was Tim's first win at his home race. very next weekend I won at VIR. So like it was like a dream season until the end of the year, and then kind of unraveled a little bit. But yeah, so that's how Tim just called me or text and had it all planned out.
That's kind of insane when you think about it. And what was it like riding for Tim?
It was amazing. It was really cool. I at the end I was bitter, and like looking back now is personal reasons, because I have nothing but respect for that whole team and the whole program, and the way it kind of went the last year was kind of hard for me, because I destroyed my ankle in 22 at the last race, and in 22 I had the bike blow up twice while I was leading, and
Kentucky Mile,
the Kentucky Mile, and at Volusia. And if I wouldn't have blown up those 2 times, I mean, it's ifs and buts and whatever, but I think I could have won that title that year. And like, cause I was on fire, I was riding well. I had the dream team. I had Mike Hacker helping me. Dustin Say, I mean, if I told him to run through a door and I would win, he would run through the door. So like, it was just going so good. And then at Volusia, the last race of the year, I'm leading the main, bike blows up, gets oil all over the track. And luckily, I don't know why, however the rules worked out,
you have to ride the backup.
I got on the backup bike, and I was pissed. And I was coming from the back, and I stuck my foot in a hole. And I'd already tore the ligaments in my ankle that year, earlier that year, and I'd torn it 3 times. So my ankle was just taped up. So the last race of the year, I think I was behind you, and it was the Triple Crown thing, and I caught my foot in the hole going into turn 1, broke the ankle. I finished the race. I don't know how. I finished the race, and it broke the ankle, split the bones apart. Like they had to drill through it and like pull it back together, and my ankle was just never right. Like it hurt so bad. But 23, I went down to Florida. I rode the vet track at PAX every time we went riding. I bet I did 10,000 laps around that track. Like, cause I couldn't jump because it didn't move. And I think I was lying to myself that I was getting better. So we go to Daytona for the short track. Season starts. Dallas wins both races. I get 5th both races. Well, Dallas was like their kid. Like they had Dallas as an amateur 450 twin, and so the focus went to Dallas, which not that they didn't care about me, but Dallas was their boy, and like I have nothing but respect for Dallas because he works hard, and I consider him a good friend, and like we still train together, but the focus went to him, and it was a rough season. And at the end of it, it's kind of at the end of 23 was when I got the chance to do the tack races when Cameron Peterson got hurt. And at that time, I finally realized that dirt tracking was my dad's dream. Road racing was where I wanted to be. And so I did those 3 races. I won the last race. But I had a good thing going with Essenson, so I was torn. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I've never told anybody that. And like this isn't anything crazy, but so my dog Phoenix, that he's a rescue. Like he's my best friend. Like if I'm at home, he goes everywhere with me, and he loves playing ball. So I had 2 tennis balls. I wrote dirt track, road race.
No way.
And so I'd throw both balls as fast as I could. He would run out, bring them back, drop the road race one. Throw them again, road race one. He would pick both of them up, drop the dirt track one, running back, drop the road race one. So like I'm like, I got to go road racing. But at this time, I didn't have anything to go road racing. And then I finally get a call from Tim and Tommy saying that they're cutting back to 1 rider. So I think it was just like the way it worked out, like it worked out the way it should. And then I hate that Dallas got hurt last year, but I got to fill in for those 3 races. And it was I got to ride the bike that I put blood, sweat, and tears in. Because I tested that before Dallas even got on a twin. I did thousands of laps and tested everything. So last year, that was like I got to close the book. Like I got to do those 3 races. And I love the team. I love those guys. Tim, Tommy, Dallas, his dad, Nick, like they're still great to me. And so like, but getting to close that chapter and getting to beat Jared Mees on a clay car half mile, like I could walk away from it and be okay.
That's insane to hear that kind of story. Now, but going to the Grand Slam, you still need to get.
I need the mile.
Is that in your mind?
It is. And it's something I want to do with Tim. Like, if I get the opportunity to ride a Honda, like, because right now I have to ride a Honda.
Yeah.
But I've talked to Tim about it, and we've done the whole thing together. So, like, I want to finish it off with him. And so if it's I want to race for a long time. So, like,
do you?
Yeah. So I'm prepared to go for it at any moment.
Would you rather that or a Superbike championship?
Superbike championship.
That was an easy one.
Yeah.
What about like that whole BMW year? Obviously was pretty difficult, but you never really spoke on it too much, like how difficult it really was. What was, you went from winning a Superbike race on the Yamaha to really struggling most of the time on that BMW. I know how hard that thing is to get your head around and ride. What really went on that year for you?
It was hard because I won on the Yamaha, and that bike, it's a great bike. And so I think I was overconfident a little bit getting on the BMW, and I'd been gone from road racing for 3 years. So like I lost a lot of time, and I feel like now I'm finally like back to where I was. But that year on the BMW, it was hard because I've been teammates with Cameron before, and I mean he's the guy that wins all the time. So like the tension's on him, and so it's hard. And the team tried really hard. Like my crew was amazing, and towards the end of the year, it started getting so hard because when I'd pull in to tech after qualifying or the race or whatever, I could see that guys were disappointed. But they weren't disappointed in me. They were disappointed for me because they knew how hard I was working. And I made the mistake. I overtrained last year. I got Epstein-Barr, so like it was like it made it hard. Yeah, and so my race performances were hard. I could do one lap in qualifying, but I was riding like this, and I could never repeat it. The beginning of the year, I just kept I'd crashed, and I don't know. It's hard to say it because I don't want MotoAmerica to get mad. But at Barber, I high-sided coming down turn 2. But I high-sided at the top. So when I landed, I was in the G-out. And when I landed, I'd hit my head at Road Atlanta a few weeks before, which wasn't a bad. I know I hit it, but it wasn't a bad one because I got up, I ran to the bike. That video has a bunch of views. But when I hit my head at Atlanta, at Barber, my right eye went blind, and I'm freaking out. Like I couldn't see through my right eye, so I played it off, and I can't remember, but somebody gave me. It was Sarah that takes pictures for Attack. She gave me her scooter to ride back to my truck, and like I'm riding back like this because I couldn't see out my right eye, and I get back, and Scott Jensen, my crew chief, was like, "Hey, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, I hit my head, and like my vision. I mean, it felt like it was 20 minutes, but it was probably like 5 minutes. But my vision started to come back a little bit. And he's like, "If you hit your head, you're not racing." I'm like, "Scott, I gotta try. I'm here. This is what I get paid to do." And because I went straight back to the truck, so I went out. I did 2 laps. I'm like, "Okay, I can't do this." And like the crew was okay with it. But so that just compounded. So I just kept crashing the thing. And I got to the point to where like I had no confidence in myself at all. So Danny Walker, just randomly called me. He's like, "Hey," like, because he's watched me ride for a long time. He's like, "I think you need a mental coach." And I was like, I'm like, and long story short, last year I started working with a mental coach, and like, it's been amazing. Like it was like the hypnotist, but like times 10. Like, and because I'm still working with him, and like last year, like I was feeling okay about myself by the end of the year. Like I could understand what was going wrong, but But last year was just like at the end of the year, like I was almost ready just to be done racing, and because I have a ride, so I was like at the end of the year, like I tried this road racing thing again, and I might not be cut out for it. So I was like maybe like I was kind of in a dark place last year.
And what are some of the things the mental coach? What's up, Fezzy? What are you doing? What are some of the things the mental coach had you working on, or has you working on still to this day?
It's just the way I process stuff, like how stuff happens, and the way I look at myself. Like I'm my own worst critic for sure, and like I'm always hard on myself. So it's helped me a lot in life too, because like I've OCD a little bit, and like so my barn, like we've done family events there, like we've done Easter, we've done the kids birthdays and stuff, and like especially last year my OCD was getting like, because that was the only thing I could control, like cleaning my stuff, training, like that was the stuff I could control. So like I was just all in on that, and that I overtrained, whatever. But so like working with him, like I got better with my OCD stuff too. And so like having kids around, like I don't know if you guys have been around kids much, but they are a mess. Like they're covered in food. If they're playing with crayons, they're drawing on everything. And like, but like this year I could tell, like when we did Easter or whatever, like they're drawing on my floor, like they're just having a good time. But like I could just sit back and live in the moment and like not stress about how am I going to clean that or what. And like that helps at racing too. Like I'm living in the moment, worrying about this practice. However this practice goes, that's how it goes. You process it, you move on, you go to the next.
Just living more in what you can control in that very moment, not so much shit that happened already.
Yeah, past and present, or past and future. Yeah, I mean, I think a mental coach, everybody should. I personally believe everybody should have some sort of mental coach in their life, right? For just daily life. I mean, it's hard. Life is just hard in general. It is. It's fucking hard, man. And just not alone like having bad years of racing. I've been there. I've gone through some stuff like that too. And to hear you talk about that is something that I believe more people, I think, don't. That one, we don't talk about it enough, and two, I don't think enough people look into it. Look into it. And when you say mental coach, I think everyone just thinks therapy. Yeah. Like, and it's not. It's about how do you optimize, yourself to be better and not be so locked in a box. Yeah.
I feel like too, like as a racer and as a man, like you don't need help. Like I'm a tough guy. Like, but I feel like once you can admit that you need it, then that's being stronger than just trying to push through it.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like.
For sure. I think a lot of it too, when you work with those guys, because James has, I have, is you realize it's not really the racing stuff they need help with. It's just you understanding yourself and how you process things, and it ends up being everything away from the track, that like your day to day, like you're saying, like the kids drawing on your garage floor, like how that bothers you or affects you. Well, of course, like if something's wrong on the bike, or if you crashed or whatever, it's going to affect you the same way. It's just if you can figure out how to deal with it in real life, then you'll be better at it when you get to the track. It is really cool. I mean, I think it's something we always try to talk about, just because I think there's a stigma. You hot, dude? It's pretty hot in here.
I think it's something where it's just like the biggest thing is accepting who you are. Yeah. Like I think that's one of the biggest things is like being okay with who the fuck you are. Yeah. Right. It took me a long time to realize, like you talk about like, do the interviews and stuff like that. I mean, there was tons of times in Jordan days, early days, that I couldn't. Like it was like not cool, or it was like, hey, you had to be straight certain way, and I felt like I just didn't fit like ever. But to hear you talk about like that, it's something that for me is the mental side was like just being okay with, yeah, dude, I'm like, I've got ADD. Yeah. Big time. Like, I am who I am. So
for somebody, not to cut you off, Jimmy, for somebody who, trains so hard, and Epstein-Barr, for people who don't know, is basically an illness, right, that you develop from overtraining.
It's a virus, right?
Yeah. Is it a virus?
It's a virus you can't get rid of, but it just comes up. Or
we've all got it. So like everybody has it, but it's dormant. And then,
Oh.
but like when you overstress your body, then that's when it pops or flares up or whatever.
And it's a fatigue.
Yeah, it's a fatigue thing. And like, cause like last year, you're in the races, like it was just. I mean, I knew I was fit enough, but it just I would struggle at the end of the races, and it's like because I've got a trainer, Ty Katie, that I've worked with since 2014, and he's amazing. But it's just and like it's taken me a long time. Like even last year, like I messed up because like if things aren't going right, I just work harder. But like he's always. His program for me is when to take days off, like when to slow down, like, and so it's just I regret not listening to him more earlier on, but yeah, I mean it's just from overtraining, doing too much, and a lot of the times I quit doing it now, but like with Ty, like if he had a 2-hour bicycle ride for me, I would do the 2 hours, I'd stop my watch so it'd upload the 2 hours and then I'd go ride another hour. Like because I know what he was telling me to do is plenty, but I'm like, well, if I do that, if I double that, then I'm gonna be even better.
Better shape.
Yeah.
Dude, that's actually crazy you say that because Zacho has the same thing, and I always go over, and he's always like, "Dude, stop. Like, do what you're supposed to do."
Yeah.
That's why we put it in there. But it's interesting. So Epstein Barr. When you're riding, though, is it just fatigue? Like what? Because the reason I'm going into it is because I think the motocross thing is going through a massive thing of chronic fatigue, right? Everybody seems to be going out for health issues, for personal reasons. So, like, to really kind of talk on the subject of what it is, you hear about it. We've heard it in GP a long time ago, but it's really like this mythical word of like being fatigued.
Yeah, it's weird because like even last year when I'd ride my motocross bike and stuff, like I wouldn't get too tired, and then I'd go do group rides, and I could hang with on the group rides, but just the next day, like I seemed a little bit more sore. Like it just was a little bit harder for me to recover. But on race weekends, you're buried so like you can't like when you're riding a motocross bike or whatever, like you can't imitate like your heart rate, your adrenaline, everything. And so on a race weekend, when you're just buried at 185 heart rate and like and all the stress from the whole weekend at the end of the race is like, I couldn't mentally focus. Like my lap times would just slowly start getting slower. And and I feel like I'm doing all the same stuff. I've never been drunk, but I feel like it might be like when you're drunk, like your brain's just not like processing the stuff as quick. And I think when you're racing, you just chalk it up to like, oh, it was just a hard race. Yeah. But then like it catches up with you.
Did you get diagnosed?
Yeah, I got blood work done, and then like it was in the blood work.
And so for people that like, how do you get out of that? Just rest? Like you have to
just rest and like
just stop doing anything, or like just you tapered way down.
I tapered way. I mean, I don't stop like, but I tapered way down, and like especially during the season this year, like I've been working harder on taking rest days and stuff. But a switch finally flipped to where like I know if I take a rest day, I can bury myself more. So like I can recover, and then I can do that 3-hour group ride and just bury myself. But it's okay because I've rested up. Because in the past I'd just go out for 2 hours and just not ride as hard. But I'm like, okay, well I'm riding, so I'm doing something. And then I'd bury myself. Then I'd go ride easy for 2 hours. But it's like you're just stacking stuff it's not building. But so like now I can rest and then go out there and perform and really like bury myself and see cross-eyed because I'm breathing so hard. And then but like those days like we'll stack and we'll get bigger.
What do you do? This leads into our next thing. You off the battery, recharge the batteries. But what do you do for recovery? Being the fact that it is really hard for you to recover. Like, does that mean you're like sitting on the couch eating chips? Because I doubt it.
Yeah, it's funny because like Matt Matthews, like he said that the day after the race weekend, he sits and plays games all day. Like, I can't do that. And like,
Dude, I don't.
He's rolling
is
around.
this like a child? You got a child? What are you doing?
I try and relax. Like, I call it active recovery. Like, it definitely helps me with the dogs. Like, I'll go walk with the dogs. I'll throw the ball. Like, I'll throw the ball into my pond and they'll go swimming. But like, Mondays are usually like after a race weekend, that's when I do my yard work. So like, I weed eat. Like, if I weed eat everything at the house and my land, it's 3 hours. So like, that's my active recovery. And then then I'll go into town, do errands or whatever. So like, but I try to relax a little bit more. The one thing that I've done this year that has helped is having the kids around, like playing with the kids. Like, I can just like, everything like shuts off and I can play with the kids. And then Hayden has a pool at his house, so I'll ride my bicycle out there, so like I get a workout in, but then I'll go swim with the kids and hang out by the pool. So like, I think for me to recharge, it's just like shutting my mind off. But I can't shut my mind off if I'm just sitting watching TV. So like, just trying to do things that aren't physically hard, but I can shut my mind off, because that's what gets wore out the most.
Your mind.
Yeah.
Well, that's our Yuasa batteries. Recharge their batteries. Yuasa battery is the most trusted battery in power sports since 1979. For over 45 years, Yuasa has delivered power, reliability, and passion at every turn. Yuasa supplies power sports batteries to more OEMs and riders than all of our competitors combined in the U.S. and globally. Yuasa battery, setting the standard for power sports batteries since 1979. Each and every day starts with Yuasa. Do you feel like there's things as you're getting older that you're able to put that energy into? You said like kids, obviously, I don't know if you foresee yourself actually having kids in the future, whatever it is. You've got the dogs, but like, do you do other things that take up mental space, or is it like literally only racing that you think about? Like, do you have other projects? Do you have other businesses or side hustles?
Yeah. So I've got rental houses. I got four. I have four of those that I pay somebody to manage those. So like, that doesn't take up time. But like, I've got four of them, and I did the math last month, and I made $96 on it. Like,
No way.
Yeah. I mean, because like, the houses I get, like, they're not super nice, and sometimes
Jake said. He said you're like the slumlord down there in Owensboro.
Yeah.
That's more of like a long-term plan for me.
Yeah.
And like I said, like growing up, my dad spent all of his money racing. So when I started making money, I saved as much as I could. Like, I didn't spend a lot of money, but that I wish I would have been smarter earlier on, because I started working with a financial advisor this year.
Oh wow.
With the kind of the little bit of sum that I had saved up, it was just sitting there. So like, he's helping me with that. And I mean, I'm never not going to be able to retire. Like, I'm always going to have to do something, but I always want to do something. So, but I at least have somewhat of a future kind of building a little bit. Like, as far as kids, I mean, like, my personal, like, I'm like, I'd want to have kids one day, but right now it's kind of hard for me to, because I know it, I'm selfish. And so like, and to see Hayden and Frankie Lee with the kids, like, they can't be selfish. And Hayden can balance out the racing life part. And I feel like right now in my racing career, I still have some goals that I want to meet. So like, I'm all in on that. But I do see myself one day settling down, maybe even when I'm still racing, because I want to race for a long time. And so, but I feel like as I've gotten older, my outlook on life has changed a little bit. I can make a little bit more time for personal life, or like with friends and stuff. But it is something that I struggle with daily, like trying to balance how hard I want to work with racing and like going to a friend's wedding or like doing whatever. Like, I feel like if I'm doing that stuff, it's taken away from racing. But luckily, like, my friends understand that. So like I do feel like at times I'm a horrible friend, but luckily I've got some great people around me that that do get it.
So what do you do for fun? Like what is the non, I know you go to the pool with the kids, but do you do anything else? Like
I golf a little bit. Like I maybe one day a week I'll go play, like, cuz we do have a good group, like, cuz it's me, Robbie, my crew chief, Danny, Jake, Hayden. So like we'll get together and we'll go, and I'm horrible at golf, but I finally got the swing a little bit. So like you get like one good hit, you're like
I got it.
and but like, because I used to be so bad, it wasn't even fun, because like I'd hit it 5 feet and then I had to drive the cart up 5 feet. But like now I can actually like play, so like I do enjoy that. But my fun time for me is just hanging out in my shop, working on stuff, hanging out with the dogs, and then my mechanic John, who I've worked with, me and Hayden have worked with on and off since 2009. He stays with me a lot during the season. So like we'll go to my land and like mess around, cut down branches, or I don't, like, if I'm home, I'm home. Like I don't go out. Like I don't do stuff, but I'm not a robot. Like I do enjoy life. Like I have a lot of fun, and I'm grateful for the life that I have, but it's just different from a lot of people my age.
Yeah.
Or our age.
Yeah. And I think everyone's a little bit different, like racing wise, even like what people are into and whatnot. And I feel like where you guys are in Kentucky too, like kind of lends yourself to that, because like you guys have a community there of people who are all very similar, which is cool in a lot of ways. But like I know for me at home in New York, there's nobody else around that does what I do. So it's like very easy to not do what I do when I go home, because it's like there's nobody to go ride with or even train with. So.
Yeah, because even most of the friends I have ride.
Right.
Like they don't road race, but they ride motocross or they ride in the woods. So like if we get together, we're going riding. Yeah.
That's cool. Do you ever feel like, you keep saying you want to ride for a long time, but do you ever have like, are there any thoughts after you have a hard year like last year? I mean, you said it earlier that you thought about quitting earlier on when things were really tough, but do you ever have those kind of thoughts, even as confident as you are, that you want to ride for a long time?
Like how close were you?
I mean, last year, like last year I was in a dark spot. Like I was struggling with life, and like I had a vision of where I should have been, and like, but I think one of the things that makes that is your damn phone, social media, like seeing people that are younger than me or my age that have this and have that, and like in racing and in life. So last year I struggled quite a bit, but. And I think I was honestly like I spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out what I could do to make money, like for a job, but still be within racing last year, like at the end of the year. And to answer your question, I think if you don't have the doubt sometimes that you like, or like kind of feeling like you should quit, you don't care about it enough. Like if you care about something a lot, like there's gonna be those times where like I don't know if I can keep doing this, or like if you're not performing, because you go there to win. So like if you're not performing, you're like, maybe I should just be done. And I could be wrong, but I probably have that thought more than a lot of people, but I would say 90% of the time, like I'm good. But there's the 10% of the time where like I get done with a race week, I'm like, I should just be done like this. But the end of last year, like that was like the first time like I really thought about,
entertained it.
Yeah.
What were you thinking of doing? What were you entertaining or looking at that you could see yourself?
I wanted to be a trainer, because I could still see myself doing that, because I could still do all the stuff that I love to do. I could ride my bicycle, I could ride my dirt bike, I could go to the races, I could be around. I mean, all my family and friends, and like even like you two. Like we might not talk at every single race, but I love seeing you guys, and like I love seeing what you guys do at the track. And like, everybody there that I grew up with, like, I might not talk to them all the time, but like, if I needed something, like, I feel like if I needed a shirt, like, I feel like I could call you, like, and like we could figure something out. If I needed a question about a house, like, I could call you, like, and so like, I feel like you built such a community. Like, I don't want to lose that. And so I honestly was thinking about, and I've never talked to him before, and because I've talked to Ty, my trainer, about kind of taking over taking over the guys that he works with that still race. But it'd be a lot for me to figure out. So I thought about reaching out to Alex Martin with Troll Training, because I've never met him. I don't know him, but he seems to have like a platform that trainers can work underneath. So like, that was something that like I really thought about. I never took the leap, because I think in the back of my mind, like, racing was what I wanted to do, but like, that was kind of a thought. And right now, at least when I'm done racing, I feel like that's what I would like to do.
I think there has also been a little bit of a shift to hear you say that. You know, you feel like that you grew up with all of us and that you can reach out. To me, since the Essendon stopped, I felt like when you came to Florida, things were a little bit more relaxed. I don't know if that's easier or harder. I don't know how that sounds, but you feel like it was more, you were more open to chat about things, whereas before it was very, like, JD was there to show up, do his fucking 30+2, be like Tomac, Barsha on the track, and then gone. But for some reason, I feel like there's been a little bit of a shift where, I don't want to say warming, because you're never not like cool and open, but just, I guess, hanging out in the pits more.
I turned 30. I think I think that's what, like, even though I am so focused on racing, like, I feel like I realized life a little bit, and racing can give you so much, but it can take so much away from you. And racing dirt track, and it even happens in road racing, but like, we lose friends. Like, we have friends that pass away, and then you line back up on this track that they just passed away, 20 minutes earlier, and you go racing. And so like, I feel like I kind of like, something just hit me. I'm like, I got to enjoy this more. And I'm grateful that I've been able to race long enough to realize that, to enjoy it, because people always say like, we need more grudges, like we need more rivalries and stuff like, and like, I get that, but the last thing I want to do is be pissed off at somebody and then them pass away or something. Like, at the end of the day, we're racing motorcycles, which is pretty damn cool. Like, it's a fun thing, and like, that's why you got into it, because it was fun. So I feel like I've tried to embrace it more, like embrace the laughter in the pit, and like, because like at the races and in the past, like my core group of people, like my crew guys, like I'd joke around and like we'd laugh, we'd have a good time, but outside of that, like, I'm here to work. But like, and I think working with the mental coach too, I can kind of turn that off and on a little bit more. So like the going down to Florida, like when I go out on track, like I'm still gonna do my 30, like but like, you gotta enjoy it. Like, it's gonna come to an end one day.
Yep. And
I'm so grateful that I've made it this far. Like I said before, to realize that it is gonna come to an end, but I'm living my best life right now. So like, I want to like immerse myself in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. No,
Do you think it takes? You said turning 30, but also is like with the whole Essence thing kind of coming to an end, and some of these other, you see like the Graves thing come to an end. Like, you see some of these projects that you think are going to go on forever, and I think that's how every racer thinks, that it's just going to go on forever. But you know, obviously, you get to 30 and you realize you're kind of on the other side of it, because that's like the magic number, right? At least when we were growing up, it was like, if you didn't get it, what you were going to get done by the time you were 30, you know, it was going to be tough after that. But also, I feel like, seeing things come to an end that you never thought could come to an end, or even opportunities that you have coming to an end, kind of forces you. Does like that have any relevance?
It does, for sure. Because like, Tim is a great guy, but he's a great business guy too. And so the personal Tim, we had a good bond, and he wanted this program. He wanted me to be there, and he's like, I want you to ride for me until you're done racing. And so for me, that clicked. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm a race. I mean, because I told him, I'm like, hey, I want to race till I'm at least 40. Like, I'm racing. And he's like, I want you here until, but the business side, like, it doesn't make sense. And so that kind of opened my eyes a little bit, and like, it made me realize that like nothing's forever. Mm-hmm. And so like I really want to enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Speaking on that a bit, you run the 95 for Ethan.
Yeah.
What, you obviously were super close with him. What was the change why you swapped your number from 73 to 95?
It was something that I wanted to do when I was younger. But 73 was just that was what my dad ran. So that's what I ran. And then when I got my pro license in dirt track the first time, my first number was set 73C, and then my second choice was 95C, because like, you know how you have to pick 3 numbers. And in the Rookies Cup, I had already switched my number to 59 because I wanted to honor Ethan, but not do the same thing. But I just felt like I wanted to run 95, and so I get a phone call from AMA, and they said 73C is taken, so you're gonna have to run 95C. So I'm okay. So that was 2009. So that's just kind of what it was. Just, it was something that I wanted to do, but it just naturally evolved from that. And like, cause like I've got it on my arm, and like I'm sure most people probably think I have it just because that's what my number is. But like Ethan, when he passed away, he was about to turn 10, and like it blows my mind that like still to this day, like people will come up to me that I don't know that has a story to about him, or like says something about him, and like it might happen once a year or whatever, but like for somebody that young to live life like he did and be that have that big of an impact on people, like I want to live my life like that. So like when I look down on my arm, like that's what, like that makes me remember that like you're not guaranteed this life, so like enjoy it, live your life, you know,
make the most of it.
Yeah.
What was it about Ethan that was so special? Hayden talks about it, that he had some of the most talent that he's ever, like, it was incredible talent, and he was just so free on a motorcycle. He almost was like, didn't love it because he was better than him.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I mean, he was an amazing rider, but like the person he was, like, I mean, because we were all young, but I don't know, like, I think, like with him, like with my stutter, like it, like he never said anything about it, and like not that other friends did. I don't know. We got along so well because the age gap from me to him was quite big. Like it was the biggest out of the three, out of the 4 of us. But there was something, and like he just always had a joke. He always was laughing. Like I don't know. It was just, he was on a motorcycle. He was amazing. He was so fast, and for how young he was, and then with the left hand that he had to deal with, like it was. I mean, he was just a amazing kid, and like even to this day. So he collected hotel cards, like the room cards, and I remember for one of his birthdays, I had went to Europe, I think, before his birthday, so I kept the hotel card. So for his birthday, like I don't know why, but I wrote him a birthday card, and I sent him the room card, and then he called me, so like we talked or whatever, and like I don't remember ever doing that with sending a birthday, even to this day, like, but like that stuck to me. And then after he passed away, I found the card and the room key. He still had it. And And so like to this day, every hotel room I go to, I take the key. Like so I bet I probably have thousands of room keys.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
really
though.
cool.
That's
It's interesting how, I mean, for being so young, like you said, that there was somebody who, to your point now, like he was enjoying it at that young of an age, you know, to hold on to something, whether or not he realized it, even, you know, sentimental wise or whatever the case is. That's really special. That's cool. What about the Jiggy Dog thing? Where did that come from?
That was so at American.
What?
I just remember the fucking your butt patch, dude. Dude, the blue fucking leathers with the flames, dude. I just
The Honda leathers,
dude,
yeah.
At the Indy Mile, I remember those fucking things and the big chain with the bulldog.
So the nickname, we were at Super Camp, and we were in California, and I don't know if you've ever seen it. I'm sure James has seen it, but back in the day when you got done with camp, you got a CD to take home that went back through the whole camp, like all the drills and stuff. And so I was intertwined with the camp by then. So whenever they were filming all that, I was there. So I was a part of it. So like we would film, sit around because I'd move cameras around and do all this stuff. And everybody else, they had to have been in their 30s, and I'm 12. And so they all picked on me. So like it was like what they could do to get me to cry. Like the joke at camp, like when Danny is introducing all the instructors, that I have the record for crying the most at camp. And so it was whatever they could do to make me cry. So I don't know why, but they gave me the nickname Jiggy Dog. And like at that time, like I didn't have like the dogs I have now. Like I probably liked dogs back then, but I guess the J and the D and the Jiggy Dog, so they put it on everything. They put it on my helmet. They put it on my chest protector. They put it on the bike I was like taped it on everything, and like I hated it. So then they made me run it. So like but for some reason it stuck. And then but like now I embrace it. Like it's cool, and like people that I'm close with, like Jake Lewis or guys at camp or whatever, they call me Jiggy. Like they don't even call me by my name. Like so, like it's cool, but like it was just something that stuck. And Norm Viano had that logo made, and I don't know why bulldog, but it just like it's changed now. But like it was something that stuck when I was 12. But
so
now
funny.
like.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The stories.
But like now, like now it's me. Like that's like
Jiggy Dog.
Yeah.
Dude, it's everywhere. It's crazy.
I love it. All right. Well, Jiggy, it's
I got one other question though, because
Hit it,
we've got
hit
one of
it.
these. We got a what if question. If you had to put together a 3-man endurance team from any era, who's on your squad?
For road racing, like for a motorcycle race.
Yeah. Just it could be anything, but anybody, but just say you had to pick, somebody from dirt and somebody from like dirt track and road racing, because you're gonna be there.
Yeah. Nicky for sure. So I would, for road race, I'd do Nicky. Dirt track, I think Graham.
I could see that.
Yeah. I mean, there's guys that I could in both, but like I feel like I never met Graham, but like he definitely didn't live the same lifestyle that I live, but he had some amazing talent. And then Nicky, of course, like I learned so much from him the years that I got to train with him, that like it'd be cool to be on a team with him.
How good was he?
He was not only was he good, he just like he did not give up. Like when we would ride turn track, like no, like we didn't stop, or he wouldn't stop until he was the fastest. But I wanted, like, Nicky was my hero growing up. So like if he wasn't gonna stop, I wasn't gonna stop. So like he would be faster than me, but he wouldn't stop riding because I wouldn't stop riding. So like we just keep going, and like we'd finally stop. But like and on a bicycle, like he was so strong. And I remember the last time I rode with him, we were riding, and there's like one spot where like we sprint to, and we're riding next to each other, and we're talking, and we both know the sprint is coming up. So we just slowly start speeding up, but we keep trying to talk, like just acting like it's nothing. And then we ended up, I don't know how fast, we're hauling ass, and I don't know how fast we're going. And I think we ended up both just not talking, and I just barely inched him, and then like we slowed down. But like, it was like I broke it, not broken, but like I
finally beat him.
Yeah, and like that was like, I mean, that was as good as a race win. Like, I mean, because I had so much respect for him, and to learn what I did from him and train with him, like to just have that little bit on him was really cool.
That's awesome. That's like, I've only had a few interactions with him, and he's been unreal. Like, it's been super cool. But just hearing all the stories from like Jake saying the same thing, you know, Hayden as well, and then this, it's like, it's really cool just to hear, because everybody, all the announcers, everybody talked that he was just the hardest worker, right, in GP, and he put the most laps in and did all that. But to hear like the background and the like that he really was like in all aspects was really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
No, he was for, and like, I mean, because I was there when he won the title in 06. So like I got to talk to him. I got to talk to Earl. So like it was, and like I feel like I don't have as much talent as he had, but like I want to work as hard as he did. So like that's just been my thing. Like even if I don't got the talent, like I wanted to be Nicky. Like he came from dirt track and he was a world champion. Like I wanted to be that. So I guess that's probably part of the reason why I overtrain sometimes.
No, it's understandable. But all right, Jiggy, we got. Yeah, I mean, you've listened to the pod, right?
No,
because
I've listened. That's
coming.
Yeah, I've listened to all of them, and like before we get, I know we've gone long, but like I wanted to always promote you guys because we need this for the sport. Like, even if you guys never asked me to be on here, I would still promote it every time that, and I'm bummed that I'm on this episode because the next one that comes out, I'm not gonna listen to myself. So like, I'm bummed. I'm basically missing one, but like, I like kudos to you guys, like, because every sport has stuff like this. And like, I feel like for us to grow, like, we need this, and so like we need to support you guys.
Dude, well, we appreciate it. You've been one of the the big pushers of Pipe Dreams, and every time I literally say this, like, it's crazy. My perception of JD Beach growing up is completely different than the story that you just told us, and I think a lot of people are gonna maybe have a little bit of a different outlook on what you went through and who you are and why you train so hard. And, to hear some of the stories, I never went through any of that.
Yeah.
And to hear some of that, like, fucking respect, dude. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
But like, I did talk about some of the bad times, but I don't want any pity for it. Like, I don't want anybody feeling bad. Like, I would go through it 10 times to have the life I have now. Like, the people I have around me, the Gillims, my blood family, my friends, like, I live an amazing life, and I'm so grateful. And like, but I'm glad that I can share the start of it.
I guess I have one final question. If you talking to somebody, either your younger self or to the next generation, what's one thing you would leave for them to become a better person or a professional motorcycle racer?
I think having passion. Like, even Frankie Lee's kids and stuff, like, his oldest is 3, and so like when I'm going riding and going racing, I tell him I'm going to work, but then like he doesn't know now, but he's seeing me having fun doing what I love to do, and I'm getting paid to do it. And so I think if you love what you're doing for work, you can get paid, and you'll be a good person because you're enjoying life. And I think it's a whole circle. And you don't have to love racing. Like, you can, like his dad, Frankie Lee loves being a lineman, and so that's what he does. Like not football, but but
should be, but
yeah, but like he loves his job, and so like I think having passion in life motivates you to be a better person and to have a path through life.
Fucking all right, Goggins. I love that. Fuck yeah. No, it's really good. Thank you.
Start a motivational Instagram after race.
I love that.
Quotes.
We got you, dude. Well, you know what's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
You know
final question.
Dude, you're on death row for. Why is he on death row?
I don't know. Overtraining one of his athletes too hard. Killed him.
He's on death row for killing one of his athletes. What's your death row meal?
I've been since the podcast came out. I've been thinking about but because I love food, so I love sweets, I love food. But if I had to pick one thing, I would go Taco Time, which is a fast food. It's a fast food restaurant in Washington. So I only get it once a year whenever we fly out there. But I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's it's the memories from being a kid that I enjoy. So like when I eat those tacos, like I just love them. But like I could sit here and name 10 meals because I love I love pasta, I love sushi. But if I had to pick one, I'd go Taco Time, and I'd get the 2 taco meal with tots, and it comes with hot sauce, and then I'd get a burrito and a soft taco, and I would eat it all. I could eat it all now.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of drink? I mean, soda.
I'd do a Fresca. Yeah.
A Fresca.
Yeah.
All right, so just still trying to keep it.
Yeah, but I'd have a hot, gooey brownie that's like not fully cooked. Like it has to be gooey with mint ice cream.
Oh man, I love it.
All
right, cool.
Ice cream.
Taco Time it is.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm going there next time.
It's a diverse dinner.
With an ice cold Fresca.
Dude, it's been awesome. I've learned a lot about you. Thank you for coming onto the pod. Thank you for always pushing the pod. Yeah, we wish you the best for the next 8 years, 7 years.
Yeah, I got another 8 in you.
I hope. But yeah, thank you guys, and I hope the fans enjoy it. I mean, I don't know how it's been 2.5 hours or whatever.
2:45 now.
Yeah, so I
Flew by.
mean, I hope they enjoy it, and I'm grateful to be on, and I hope you guys do well this weekend too.
Yeah, no, you too. I appreciate it. I think hopefully it didn't stress you out too much this week leading up to coming on, but I think it is really cool. It's not I know it's not easy for you, and so pushing through it means a lot, and I think people will also really appreciate it as well, just hearing the story behind it all and so on. So really cool, and yeah, good luck this weekend. Hopefully. So I was over at the shop yesterday, and I heard you warped your brake rotor again. But
Rear brake?
Oh, I go through 3 a weekend.
one a
what?
day, they said.
Yeah.
Does it not have anti-wheelie?
It's a super stock.
Yeah, but it should have it, no?
No.
The rear brake.
Dang.
Well,
Dirt draggers.
not to go into it, but so the anti-wheelie doesn't go off the front forks. It goes off the IMU. So once the bike's already going, it's already...
Yeah, so you're just...
Yeah.
Done.
And then it,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
All
right.
Well, I was talking with Mark though about how far up you got in Superbike last weekend. It was pretty cool to watch.
Dude,
you
it
know,
was
on that thing.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
You can totally tell you got some confidence back. 'Cause even in the Superstock race, I watched the whole weekend, and you look good.
Yeah, I feel like I'm riding like myself, and like after the second race, I was like, I'm back. I felt it.
Well, I love that. Hopefully this weekend, I know Ohio's usually good for you, I think, and hopefully it's a good weekend for all of us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Podiums all around, big
Yeah,
dog.
baby.
All right, see you.
Later.